How are we doing today? Welcome to another show. Chat. Today, we're going to be talking about someone we haven't talked about in a minute. I admit, just because, he's on his way to a long, steady federal stay in Romanian prison. So, I mean, at this point, last time we left off, this guy is definitely getting tried. Okay. In the UK, they already buttoned up on their charges, so that's pending the moment he gets done with Romania. But yeah, so I mean, who would have thought, that the last gasp of an old dying clout chasing monger, who would have known his desperation would know no bounds? Okay, for those guys who know what I'm talking about Andrew Tate. Okay, Andrew Tate again doing whatever he can to stay relevant in the media because again, people are slowly going to forget about him. It is what it is. He doesn't have as much pull as he used to back in 2021, 2022, hell, peak 2023. That's basically what it is. So he's doing whatever to keep it popping. Now, obviously, he hasn't been without help. The Matrix has been great in helping Andrew Tate basically get kicked off of all these other platforms, only to end up on, platforms like Fumble Rumble, Reject Squads, with the rest of the pill poppers, and, okay, Twitter, or aka X. Okay, I'm still getting used to that. All right, but X is the new place and social media places where they go to congregate. Now, the guys who run it, they say this is about free speech. They say this is about letting things, let people say what they want to say because it's about America. That's right. The mainstream media and the Matrix deleting everything. Okay, it's about America and freedom of speech, right? That's what they're telling you it's about, and then they end up being complete hypocrites and proving no, it's not about that. They just want their own infrastructure so they can pump out their narrative, and essentially narrative galore is what you're gonna see all over Twitter because Elon Musk doesn't want to invest in things like quality control, making sure that people don't just post things here and there. Maybe specifically people with clout and slightly more pull, maybe you don't let them post things here and there without facts checking it because hey, if multinational politicians, I don't say multinational politicians, that doesn't make any sense, but if politicians from different nations are listening to you, okay, at least want to make sure the quality control, at least the platform you're on, has some level of foresight, because again, you guys are about free speech and facts, right? Facts and evidence, right? You go tell that to Elon Musk. What ended up happening was, so there was a huge incident in the UK that happened. If you guys don't know, the UK is on fire right now. It's burning. There's a lot of shit going on that is just bad, and I wouldn't say it all started because of the stabbing of the individuals that had happened to, and unfortunate it was bad, right? There was a few stabbings, but the issue UK is dealing with goes a lot deeper than that, and it just goes down to just downright bad policy they've been doing over there, and that's the UK. So hey, good luck to you guys over there. But still, what ended up happening was awful, right? The idiot went in there and started stabbing, killing innocent people. And voila, it sparked an insane unrest, right? People were just kind of like, freaked out, like, what is going on? Now, the reason why this thing blew up into a massive riot and a massive, just conundrum that it ended up being was because, again, goes back to the past things that we're talking about that the UK is dealing with right now. You see, migration. Migration is a huge thing right now, a crisis apparently that is happening in the UK. It's bad. Like, I mean, that's what a lot of these guys are saying right now. Another thing, the element they're talking about is crime. Now, when you have migrants who are being stuffed in these poor, areas, right, with no papers or no way to get jobs or no way to integrate in the community, right? You're gonna start seeing what's happening in New York City right now, where a lot of people just start committing crimes, where they get scammed, some people get shot, stabbed, right? It starts to get crazy, and that's essentially what started happening in the UK. But there's been a bunch of stabbings, they've been going through the roof, gang activity through the roof. There's a bunch of shit just going crazy through the roof. So what ends up happening is the stabbing was the final straw, chat. Okay, the stabbing at that area with those individuals was the final straw, and a bunch of people got pissed off. Now, when people are pissed off, they go on Twitter and they go there to find out what crowd they need, what their leaders need to tell them to do. Right? They need to find out, who to listen to, and so their influencers can bark orders at them. Right? So that's essentially what ended up going on. A lot of these guys flooded the Twitter, and one of the main voices that they heard was Andrew Tate. That's right, Andrew Tate was basically out there before more facts and evidence, because this is the team of facts and evidence can come out about the situation or stabbing, right? Andrew Tate already somehow had an idea who this person is, right? He automatically assumed that the person who stabbed these individuals, he must have been a migrant. Yeah, he must have been a migrant. He must have came over the border with the boat and listen, this is what they're doing to our country. This is what they're doing. All right. So Andrew Tate, without knowing the facts, literally puts a photo up there that's not even a guy, by the way, that was doing the stabbing. It wasn't the guy at all, right? But Andrew Tate puts the photo on there, and then he starts saying, this is the face of the terrorist, because the media doesn't want to say the name, and they know that this is the guy that did it. We got to start taking care of our own. Pretty much the whole far right national I don't want to say policies, but rhetoric that has been taken hold over the UK, right? So Andrew Tate is finding a new grift within that niche. Hey, you still got a lawsuit over there, but so don't try to hijack this grift just yet, right? So he's jumping on the wave, and clearly he got it wrong. But a lot of people listened to Andrew Tate because they actually thought that the photo of that guy that they put up there was actually him, right? And here's the thing: you got a lot of stuff where what ends up happening, and here's the unfortunate casualty of things, right? What ends up happening was people who are in the group, in the movement, they automatically started assuming the guy was also Muslim, right? So they were saying, oh yeah, this guy, he must be Muslim, he must be one of these Muslim migrants coming over the border with the boats and everything, right? Because that's the same rhetoric Andrew Tate was using. They're coming over on the boats, they're coming in and they're changing our lifestyle, taking our jobs, whatever the fuck, right? So a bunch of people started to assume the guy was a Muslim migrant, right? Going around stabbing and doing all that crazy stuff. So what ends up happening is guys like Nigel Farage, Nigel Farage, the politician up there, actually co-signed Andrew Tate and his rhetoric, right? So they started promoting this false facts that this was some atrocity done by a Muslim migrant going around stabbing it, right? Now, I'm not saying that doesn't happen in the UK. It does. I'm just saying that these guys did not do the due diligence, right? So, of course, the public thought it was another thing where the migrants are now coming in and killing our own people. So then they decide to stage a protest. I mean, you can call it a protest, but it got pretty freaking crazy, all right? And then there was a counter protest to that protest where a bunch of Muslims were like, hey, this time it wasn't even us, but since y'all coming at us, now we gonna protest. So they became the counter protesters, and then the shit went gangbusters. Like I'm talking people getting attacked, cars getting fucking window getting smashed, things are just a bunch of people going nuts right now. So protesters going against fucking counter protesters. We don't even know what the fuck's going on anymore, right? So and now since this whole shit has blown up in a bunch of politicians' faces, especially the ones who are on the far right grift right now, and they're jumping on the Andrew Tate wave. All right, so it blew up in their face because they co-signed this nigga's tweet, and they're like, "Yo, hey, shit, we got it wrong." It turns out he was actually his parents. His parents came here illegally, and he's a citizen. Fuck. Oh no, he wasn't actually Muslim or a migrant. Oh God. Oh fuck. We screwed up, right? So this is all Tate's rhetoric, though, right? This is all Tate's rhetoric, and a bunch of people who have been stoking in on the far right for a long time in the on Twitter, right? I've been telling y'all the bigotry and racism going on in these Twitter spaces, bro. It's not a joke. Everybody think I'm joking. It's not. These niggas are mad racist, bro. So you can call it free speech, but there's a reason why YouTube banned a bunch of these niggas who are not flocking to these platforms talking about free speech. though. Y'all a bunch of fucking bitches. It was crazy, right? So yeah, and they didn't realize, oh fuck, we got it wrong. So everybody's trying to figure out who to blame here, right? So who's the perfect scapegoat? Well, I mean, why not the top influencer who started this bullshit? I mean, he didn't start it, but who helped promote the rhetoric to begin with, Andrew Tate. So everyone's pointing the finger back at Andrew Tate and say, hey, nah, bruh. Honestly, we were wrong, but to be fair, we thought Andrew Tate was right. These guys are morons. Like, listen, when you got fucking politicians listening to Andrew Tate as a legitimate news source, you failed. You're a loser. You fucked up. You just resign because this guy has never been factually correct. Okay, I mean, he's not even factually correct on his own fucking rape case that he's got going on right now. I mean, you guys are promoting that guy. Like, you're gonna let him grift into that space too? And honestly, what made this whole thing kind of weird, because a bunch of Muslims are not asking a question to Andrew Tate, like, yo, Andrew Tate, bro, did you set us up, bro? That's what they're doing. They're asking Tate the question because Tate's supposed to be a Muslim, but his rhetoric, especially in the UK, seemed very anti-Islam, anti-Muslim, right? Especially the people, the migrants, because that's the main thing coming out right now. So he's getting the backlash for that because people were like, yo, so this whole thing started because you out here promoting this same rhetoric a bunch of these far-right guys are promoting. And by the way, we fall into that demographic, Tate. So whose side do you want? So listen, that's all for Andrew Tate to figure out because, listen, I told you, this grifting will eventually catch up to y'all niggas. I told y'all, this grifting y'all doing is too much. It will catch up to you. Andrew Tate don't even know where his identity's at no more. Right? Are you a Muslim or are you a white nationalist, you know, trying to stop, you know, your fellow Muslim migrants from coming over? Which one is it? Which one is it? Because it looks like you at a crossroads, buddy. And I think a bunch of people now, going 2025, y'all gonna start realizing how much this nigga Tate never give a fuck about your religion. He never give a fuck about your people. He never give a fuck about anything, really. It's all about staying relevant so he can grab that last ditch of clout, or you bozos signing up to that war room course, paying the price of a used Honda Civic just to get in there. All right, that's what he wants. All right, because somebody got to pay that commissary account. I mean, somebody got to pay, and it's y'all simps. All right, congratulations, you played yourself. So a bunch of people are going through an awakening right now, especially when it comes to Tate, aka Buddy is getting desperate. Now, obviously, you're still gonna get your few stragglers here, the ones who are gonna be your Tate fanatics for life, because that's all they fucking care about, and they harbor a lot of that inner prejudice too as well. But those guys, they're becoming ever decreasing minority of people who just happen to have microphones on these platforms like Rumble and Twitter, but they're not really important anymore. And I think they're starting to feel that, because after this spanking he got from Piers Morgan's, oh my god, like that was the creme de la creme. Like, Andrew Tate, literally, he displayed so many attributes that we've been criticizing thus far, especially the one where it's like, bro, like, you got it wrong, and yet you're still trying to act like you were right. You got the description wrong, yet you're not clearly taking accountability for that. The guy wasn't a Muslim nor a migrant. He got radicalized. That's what he is. He was a citizen that got radicalized. And yes, that happened. So again, you just see the pure arrogance just oozing off of this guy. And the other thing you guys got to watch is what I talk about a lot, where I say in the pill popping spaces, when it comes to debates, all right, it's not about ideas winning. It's about alpha dominance, right? So people think Andrew Tate walked out of this. I mean, a small minority of people walked out of this debate spanking Piers Morgan. And it's like, yeah, you're high. Because the guy literally just admitted he didn't know what the fuck he was talking about. Yeah, he lied, and he just jumped on a bandwagon so he can get the attention. And yet, y'all not questioning that still? Like, how low can you tater tots go? Honestly, like, is the basement too fucking low or not low enough? The fuck is wrong with y'all? So, chat, that's what we got for y'all today. This shit about to be hilarious, because that led to the whole debate was funny, especially watching Andrew Tate squirm, not being able to answer the questions, getting called out on his own bullshit live, dude. It was insane. So, chat, let's go ahead and get into it.
a battery of false claims online, including that the killer was a devout Muslim and a Syrian refugee. Riots and looting have since spread to at least 16 towns and cities across the UK. Far-right thugs have sieged mosques and hotels housing asylum seekers. Groups of armed Muslim men have attacked people in the street. These appalling scenes have become a stain on Britain's global reputation. Elon Musk has commented that civil war is inevitable in the UK. Many US conservatives are amplifying the unrest as apparent evidence of failed multiculturalism. One of the influencers accused of fanning the flames is Andrew Tate, a recently converted Muslim man whose inaccurate claims in the days after the mass stabbing have been viewed tens of millions of times. And he joins me now. Andrew Tate, welcome back to Uncensored.
It's been a while.
It has. And
he's so fucking cringe. He literally thinks he's doing something to it. This like, yo, just where's your etiquette, bro? Okay, he just little, hey, yo, it's good to see you. Welcome back. It's been a while. Dude, like, so fucking predictable. Like, he thinks he's so unpredictable. He's actually predictable. Like we already know this is what you're doing, bro. It's such a gimmick at this point. It's not even funny.
And obviously, in fact, I'm about to talk to you, Nigel Farage, who is now a member of Parliament in the UK and who has been saying some very inflammatory things in the last week or so about these riots, has blamed you, named you in a radio interview as for the person who spread the disinformation, which he then believed. I want to start by playing a clip of a video you posted to Instagram, I think it was, on the 29th of July, that you posted to various social media platforms, in which was your response to what had happened.
So an undocumented migrant decided to go into a Taylor Swift dance class today and stab 6 little girls. That's right, somebody arrived in the UK on a boat. Nobody knew who he was. Nobody knows where he's from. The media is, of course, hiding the fact that this is a 17-year-old male. They don't want to highlight how ridiculous it is that we allow military-aged males, combatants, to flood our shores. I don't see any protests in the UK. I don't see.
Wait a minute. Is it military-aged combatant males, the demographic, exactly the demographic of males you said the government were worried about because you have that in spades, right? So technically, the guy is in your demographic. He likely is a Tate fan. Likely. I'm not saying he is. Just saying he's likely in your demographic, bro.
Anybody complaining? Nobody's outside of the school. Nobody's outside the police station. The soul of the Western man is so broken that when the invaders slaughter your daughters, you do absolutely fucking nothing.
So right there, right? You hear what he was saying. I don't see anybody protesting outside of government buildings, outside of this and that, right? Oh, why they slaughter your daughters and whatnot. So obviously, listen, did it happen? Yeah, oh, it happened. And there's a lot of stabbings that happen in UK, bro. Like, honestly, I'm gonna just be real with y'all. I like the gun laws here because being stabbed, it just seems way too insane. Like, way too insane, dog. Like, I mean, is it weird to say, like, I would rather deal with a bullet than a knife? I just feel like a knife is just insane, bro. Like, again, UK niggas are crazy. So a lot of people are running around there just stabbing people, and you just don't know. And then you couple that with, like, a bunch of mental health shit. I mean, we got guys with guns going into malls, mass deleting people. It's no surprise to see the same effect in the UK. Young guys, same demographic, going out and committing mass stabbings. All right, if they had guns, it'd be mass shootings too. So clearly there's a problem with men in that age group that we all should be talking about. This is no longer a US thing. This is a multinational thing. This requires a multinational collaboration effort to figure out what's going on with these young males, why they want to commit these violence, okay? But you notice how Andrew Tate basically was inciting, hey, I want y'all to go in the streets. Why aren't y'all in these streets? Why aren't y'all protesting these police buildings? Why aren't y'all protesting these places? You're going to let these guys coming off the boat kill your daughters? Slaughter your daughters. So obviously people seeing that, right? They're like, yeah, you know what, Tate? He's right. Honestly, we're not going to just sit back and let them slaughter our daughters. Let's stage a protest. And congratulations, Tate. You got what you asked for. People protest. And then it went bad because protests always go bad. I don't know why you guys, people on the left and the right, I don't know why you guys don't understand this. Like, protesting, I'm not saying you don't do it. I'm just saying if you're gonna do it, just understand there is gonna be a high chance it's gonna go bad. And this one did. It blew up in Andrew Tate's face, and it blew up in the face on the rest of the people on the right because Andrew Tate got the facts wrong, and y'all spread the message. That's unfortunate, bro.
Now that video has been viewed 15.1 million times. X limited the post's visibility because of its rules on hateful conduct. But the bottom line, Andrew, is that almost everything you said in that video was completely untrue. And yet it was apparently seized upon online, spread wide and far, and made people believe what you were saying. So my question for you off the top here is, why did you race to spread such woeful disinformation, given the massive following you have, and encourage people to take action against a caricature and description of who had perpetrated this, which was simply untrue?
Well, firstly, I'll start by saying I didn't know Nigel Farage said those things about me, which is a shame because I'm actually a fan of him. I think he's trying to do the right thing.
No, he said those things. He's covering his ass. He listened to you and it blew up in his face. That's not good if you're a UK politician in Parliament. Okay, yeah, I got my news from Andrew Tate on Twitter. You should probably resign as a politician. I'm sorry, because this guy isn't credible for anything. Okay, so yeah, I don't care if you're a big fan of Nigel Farage. He's trying to distance himself from the mess you got him into. And Nigel, that's also your fault too. If you're a politician in Parliament and you're listening or taking cues from a mongrel like Tate on Twitter, you probably deserve the backlash, bro. I think you need to stand up and be the politician the UK citizens are demanding. A politician that takes accountability. You chose to promote Tate. Don't sit there and say, oh, it was his fault. I was listening to him. I don't know. Like, I denounced Tate. Yeah, that's my response to that. Bro, politicians are so predictable, bro.
I also understand in his political sphere, sometimes he has to hang other people out to dry to save himself because he's getting heat also. Secondly, I'll argue with you about the fact that everything I said was untrue. I think the only thing I said that was untrue is that perhaps he was undocumented. It was a 17-year-old male. It was a migrant. He did kill little girls. And advocating for people to stand outside and make it clear that they're unhappy with what happened is not a dangerous ideology. We live in a democracy where we have the right to protest and the right to make it clear when our voices are not heard. I recently protested against the Olympic ceremony outside the French embassy. I'm not sure if you saw it, complaining about how they depicted Jesus Christ, because I was unhappy with what I saw. And I think that when people feel like they have a voice, they're not likely to get violent. And the problem we have now is that people do not have a voice, which is why we're seeing rioting, which is why we're seeing looting, because people do not feel like there's a political solution any longer. And what
first of all, don't say, okay, yeah, the whole Olympic thing was wild. That was a weird depiction and whatnot. But like, that's part of being a Christian, bro. Like, Christians have like the highest tolerance in terms of religion out there in the entire planet. You can't find anything more than that. I wouldn't say way back in the day, you know, it wasn't as tolerant, but now it's way tolerant, right? People, you know, you can matter of fact, most of the reasons why most people end up becoming Christians or converting to Christianity is because the Christians, like, they open themselves to scrutiny. The Bible itself, you gotta scrutinize the Bible. You gotta scrutinize, question a bunch of things. You gotta question a bunch of stuff, right? So you not just question, but also like ridicule and do that, because that's just what it is. And you know, the Bible doesn't tell you to go fucking kill them or stab them or whatnot. No, you pray for them and move on. That's it. So so you saying, oh no, Christians, you know, you should be, you know, angry and protesting for that, bro. Like, what? What? No, that's part of having tolerance. Let them do what they do. In time, you know, you can only, you know, pray that they find Jesus. But in that case, if they don't, they don't. But you sitting there saying we got to march because they depict it, bro. Who are you to try to defend God? Let God defend himself or herself, whatever it is, right? I just find it interesting when these guys coming in here. Oh yeah, no, you gotta go protest and march, bro. No, don't let a man tell you what God is supposed to do or not do. Don't let him do that. This is how people end up in trouble, and this is how things get bastardized, bro.
What I was trying to do was encourage people to stand up and make their voice heard in a peaceful way to avoid violence. Because when people feel like they're not heard, violence is always the end result.
Yeah, but you've actually had the complete opposite effect, and you know the massive following that you have and the influence that you can wield. And by spreading, I mean, again, you've repeated the fact this kid who has obviously now been charged with very serious crimes, including killing these 3 girls, was a migrant. He wasn't a migrant. He was born in Wales. His parents were legal immigrants from Rwanda. So he's not a migrant. He's somebody born in Wales, born in the United Kingdom.
Well, first things first, it's unfair for you to say that I've had an opposite effect. What I did was point out the facts of the situation, that a 17-year-old male killed little girls.
You didn't. That wasn't the facts. You said he was a migrant. You said he just came over the border or came across the river with a boat or the water with the boat, right? That's what you said. You said it in those specific words. You weren't saying, oh, I mean, I was kind of right. I said he was a teenager and he committed violence. No. See, words have meaning and power, because when you phrase things certain ways where they're coming across with on boat and they're coming in to slaughter your daughters, when you start phrasing things like that, you start to radicalize people, okay? It's like you're taking your rhetoric from how you radicalize these incels against women. Now you're taking that shit to politics. You're doing the exact same thing, but in this time, you're doing it, instead of women, it's migrants. You see, it's the same formula. So you gotta watch the rhetoric. You know exactly what you were inciting, bro. You said that shit, and people hung on every word because there's an underlying level of hatred right now, or anger towards migrants. All right, some of it justified, and some of it just woefully not. Okay, it's just it is what it is. You weren't honest, Tate. This is ridiculous.
If I point out the facts of the situation, that the sky is blue, and then people go and decide to riot because I've said those things, does not mean those things are not true. That's the first thing. Secondly, here's where we have the dichotomy of the UK. And I actually think this conversation is going to be one of the most important and potent conversations of modern times, especially as this issue is not going to be solved anytime soon, Piers. The problem we have now in the UK is that we have a certain subsect of the population who believe because he was born in Cardiff, he is a Welsh man. And we have another subsect of the population who believe that even if he was born in Cardiff, he is not Welsh. I'm currently in Romania. I'm an American and British citizen. The woman who I have a child with is Italian. The child was born in Romania. The Romanians do not consider that child Romanian, not by their view of the world. What? If I had a child in China, they would not consider that kid Chinese. They would look at the face shape of the child and say that's not a Chinese child. If I had a black child in Russia, they would not consider that child Russian. In the West, in the democracies, we do. But we have a problem because you now have you have a dichotomy of ideas. You have 2 different camps.
It's not a dichotomy of ideas, bro. It's just, bro, even if they were born in China, right? Unless they if they got like not a visa, passport or whatnot. I don't know how it works in China or whatever it is, right? Typically, if you're born on that soil, you are a citizen of that soil, right? It just is what it is. So if they don't consider you a citizen, culturally speaking, that's culturally speaking. Like what? Some guy who has a kid with a local woman in Japan or Vietnam or wherever it is, where you're gonna say, oh, that kid's not Japanese, right? Culturally, sure, but that's just prejudice and racism. It is what it is. It happens all over the place. But factually speaking, that person is born in Japan. You're not gonna have a birth certificate of where they're from? That's wild to me, bro. So I don't understand that argument. It's not. I don't think it fits well with what he's trying to go with here. But at the end of the day, are you trying to say just because he was born in the UK, even though his parents are from Rwanda, he's still not technically from the UK? Is that the argument you're trying to make? Because that doesn't work. He's got a UK citizenship, right? So if you're trying to say that some subsect of your protesters or your base or whoever is running this shit here with y'all, all right, they don't consider him, even though he's with a UK citizenship, he was born here, they still don't consider him from the UK. I think that's a problem with them, because he's a UK citizen. So it doesn't matter how you want to stretch it. A UK citizen walked into that dance studio and murdered people. That's what we should be talking about. We shouldn't be trying to label migrants or put Muslim here or that. Like, we shouldn't be doing that. We got to do the facts. Otherwise, what are we doing this for?
And the camp that believe that this person perhaps isn't even Welsh in the first place are also the camp which are being suppressed and not allowed to speak and are being smeared and labeled as far right for having genuine concerns. And that is why things are getting exasperated and out of control. What we need is conversation. And what we need.
No, they've already marked those guys as racist. If those guys who are saying, well, yeah, even though he was born from Welsh, but we don't consider him a Welshman. You guys are racist. Yeah, they're calling you far right because it's far out of the fucking dialogue, bro. Your group still, even though he's got a citizenship, you still wouldn't consider him, from the UK. I wonder what part of him or what about him, no matter what, even if he was born here, still makes him not from here. You sound you're making your group sound stupid, bro.
It is dialect. You cannot have a multicultural democracy and ignore the concerns of one particular subsect of that culture, especially when it's the native culture, and expect everything to be fine forever. There's a lot.
Native culture. Okay, guys. The native culture. Yeah. Okay, so I get the crux of his argument. I understand it now. So the native Britons, right? The small subset, the ones who are not afraid to say, hey, you know what? Even though that guy was born here, we still don't think he's from here. You know what I'm saying? Because he's not one of us natives. You know what I mean? Right? I think I get the argument here. Oh, yeah. Yes. You still realize it's still rooted in racism. This shit is fucking racist as fuck, bro. Either way, it was a UK citizen that did this. I don't care which way you want to spin it. I don't care. Matter of fact, I don't even think society should pay attention to that small little subset. But honestly, and just for the sake of dialogue, they should, just to see how stupid your fucking ideas are. Because those natives you're saying, they're peddling a bunch of ideas that are damn near prejudice, bro. You got to understand that. And in a perfect world, Andrew Tate, if you didn't have the cloud, if you didn't have all those different things like that, you would be getting your Negro wake-up call too from the natives.
A lot of people who have a point of view, they didn't feel like they had a political solution anymore. And this is what's happening. The reason this dichotomy exists, Piers, please understand, if they are sitting there and they're accepting that this is a Welsh man, but now they're starting to get concerned for the safety of their children, and they don't feel like there's any kind of political solution, well, then they're going to come to the very simple and obvious conclusion that they'd rather not have anyone from anywhere else in their country to avoid these things happening again, because they don't feel like there's any other political solution. This is a fail of the politicians. This is a failure of the leaders. It is a job of a leader to inspire all of the people to have trust in him, not just some of the people, not just the people he likes, not just the people on his party or the people he wants. It is his job as a leader to have every single person in the country believe that he cares about the issue and he's doing something actively to fix it. And
I agree. So are you going to fix the fact that you got the facts wrong as a leader to your fans across multiple nations? Are you going to admit that? Because you got the facts wrong. You see what I mean? Like when I tell you that Andrew Tate, okay, people, because here's the thing. When sometimes I joke about his blackness, and I do that for a reason, right? Because Andrew Tate, his blackness, he kind of almost looks white. Right? If you just squint hard enough, most people would forget that he's black. Right, especially Tristan. With Tristan, he looks damn near just white, like a white dude, right? Or like some kind of Persian, maybe. I don't know. I don't know, right? But still, right? You see what I mean when I tell y'all they use their blackness when it's convenient, because Andrew Tate has been flirting with this far right ideologies for a while, and for a while when people will call him out on it, his response is, "I'm black. Oh my goodness, my brother's black. We're all black." Now look how he's talking. It's like he thinks he's white, like he's one of these natives, right? Like, nigga, what? Wasn't your daddy from Chicago? Huh? Wasn't your daddy an American military man? Huh? You're not a native. So technically, I mean, I don't understand here. The argument will be against you, but because you don't look like, your skin's not as brown, and some of the natives can overlook, some of these things, right? They'll say, Tate, he's one of us, right? He's one of us. He's our guy. Yes. And finally, we got a celebrity on our side. Bro, you got to wake up, smell reality. What you're advocating for, I don't even know, bro. First of all, he's not even advocating for anything. He's advocating for himself. It's just more clout, okay? He's just using this whole scenario and the death of these girls as like a cheap trick to get more clout. And honestly, this is the part that I actually despise about Andrew Tate, because he did the same thing with the whole Israel versus Palestine thing, right? He took that whole debate and made it about himself. It's just like, bro, you need help. You need prison. You need something.
Instead, what Kier did was stand up and do the absolute opposite. Shut down any legitimate concerns. Tell people they don't have a voice. Tell people nothing's going to change, is going to stay exactly the way it is. And let me tell you something. I want to make this very clear. There's a lot of people in the world who would rather go to jail and have a warm bed and 3 square meals a day than watch their children die. There's a lot of people who would rather go to jail than watch their society collapse in real time around them. There's a lot of people who would really rather go to jail than feel unsafe to walk the street at night ever again. These are people who have lived in the same place for a very long time. They have a vested interest in this geographical location. And without political solutions being offered, I don't know how hubristic you must be to sit and expect anything other than what we've seen.
I completely understand. Listen, a lot of people would choose jail than to see their kids go through some kind of hardship or some kind of trouble. That's right. Andrew Tate, you are spot on, and I agree. However, what does this have to do with you getting it wrong? You have not even just said I was wrong, not once, since Piers Morgan gave you the voice. You have not said, if anything, you're just trying to redirect it to how all these other politicians were wrong and how all these other politicians aren't doing their jobs to stand up. But that's not what Piers asked you. He asked you, hey, are you going to take accountability for the fact that your Twitter post basically incited a riot that basically cost a lot of money and a lot of people got hurt, right? What do you have to say about that? Well, a lot of people ready to go to jail, okay, because they don't like what's going on with this country. I'll tell you that. Nigga, you've been in Romania for the past decade. You don't know what's going on. You've been running from your own country, talking about now you pretend you care about your people. Nigga, weren't you exploiting them for webcamming? Now all of a sudden you're coming back. Oh, I care about the UK. Oh, my God, I'm such a patriot. Oh, yeah. Y'all forgot. I'm Andrew Tate, baby. I'm a patriot. I've always been a... Shut up. You exploited your country, and when they wanted to hold you accountable, you fled to Romania. Now you're coming back over here saying a lot of people rather go to jail. No, nigga, why are you running to avoid jail? Huh? Why didn't you take your jail sentence when the UK government was looking for your ass? Huh? Nah, but you didn't want to do that. No. We run to Romania because a lot of people would rather go to jail, but Andrew Tate don't go to jail. Andrew Tate runs to a different country, right? But he want to come out here and go ahead and deflect, obfuscate, and point all these different things. Bro, answer the fucking question. You were wrong on the description, on the nationality, even on the immigration status. You were wrong, okay? And a lot of people got hurt. A lot of people did go to jail, right? This is like the Trump thing all over again, bro. You started this shit and people are in jail. People got locked up over your rhetoric because you got it wrong. Maybe if they knew at the get-go that this guy was a UK citizen just like them, maybe they wouldn't have gotten to the same extremes that it got to at this point. Do you, Andrew Tate, take accountability for that? I don't want to hear any of this bullshit, bro.
This is a failure of leadership, and that's what's so disappointing about it.
Right. So here's my response to what you've just said. First of all Keir Starmer has said, as far as I can see, is that he is going to bring the full force of the law against people who committed acts of violence. And the violence that was perpetrated...
No, he called them far right.
Yeah, well, there were far-right thugs who were leading this, and they were attacking mosques. They were chanting anti-Muslim chants, and they were doing this because
there was a black person in the crowd. Would you say
it doesn't matter if there's a black dude in the crowd, bro? First of all, this is where a lot of Muslims were kind of like, yo, Tate, are these your peoples or are you with Islam? Like, what's going on here, bro? Are you with your Muslims or are you with these people? Like, because like they out here chanting all this anti-Muslim shit and you supposed to be a Muslim. You see what I mean? You see how you know how each movement, they have a they take a leader from a group, right? Whether it's a religious group, political group, they take that leader and then they use that leader to work against the group's interests, right? So, like, let's say, they can say within the black community, you can have some of these new age black leaders, you can say are handpicked, right? Where they act against the group's interests, right? They support people who don't help black folks, who don't help nobody at all. So basically, they're just snakes in the grass, right? That's just who they are, right? Andrew Tate is the same thing, right? He built his fame off of grift, and now he's a Muslim. Everyone knows him as that. But you know what the far right are gonna use him as? A fucking tool, right? They're gonna say, hey, This guy's a Muslim himself. You can't say we're racist. You can't say we have phobias. No. Here's a Muslim, Andrew Tate, telling you that no, this is all bad. We see, they put your own people in front of you. So a lot of people are saying, "Yo, Tate, what's up with all this double rhetoric, bro? Are you with us or are you not?" And honestly, listen. I don't think this is a thing of sides or pick a side, don't pick a side. This is more of a conversation about Andrew Tate and his grifting ways. Because what we have to focus here on this live stream chat is how much of a crossroads Andrew Tate himself is in right now, right? Because now his grifting has reached an intersection. He can either go with this far right thing or risk losing the Muslim community, or he doesn't go forward with this far right thing, but risk losing relevancy and, good graces with the far right, right? Because the far right, a lot of them are Christian. Let's just be real. Christian or Catholic, whatever the fuck you want to call it, right? So it's interesting seeing how the grift has gotten this far. Andrew Tate is going to collapse. Like, you can't possibly keep this shit up.
As you'll say, I'm going to have my say now. It was put out falsely on social media that the person who did this was a Muslim. Not just a Muslim, but a Muslim who came in on one of the small boats, part of the very contentious ongoing issue of the small boat. I'm not saying you did. I'm saying this is what was put out on social media in a series of false posts, which then went viral, right? So he was supposedly a Muslim. Not true. Supposedly came in on a small boat. Not true. Supposedly on an MI6 watch list as a potential terrorist. Not true. None of this was true. And so on the back of that, far-right thugs who led this went up and attacked mosques, and they went and attacked hotels with asylum seekers in there waiting to be processed, and they was trying to set fire to them. Those are acts of despicable violence, which were being led by far-right thugs. Now,
that's crazy. Listen, you got to live religious stuff alone, right? When you start burning churches and you start burning mosques, now you just going into a different territory. And you gotta, anyone who does that, right? I don't care if it's Hindu or whatever it is, right? You don't fuck with other people's religious artifacts or religious worship sites or religious grounds. I mean, you're just inviting yourself into a whole world of problems, bro. But Andrew Tate, your rhetoric did cause that, bro. So, I mean, people they went crazy. UK's burning right now. It's not looking good.
Not everybody involved in all these protests is a far-right thug. Some of them will be ordinary members of the public trying to legitimately protest peacefully. I completely accept it. But the ones who were leading it, who were committing the acts of violence and making the threats against the Muslim community, were doing so because they have been completely misled about who had done this. It was not a Muslim. It was not an illegal immigrant. It was not somebody on the MI6 watch list. It was none of those things. Now, you posted on July the 30th, the day after the killing. And I feel particularly incensed, by the way, that the deaths of these 3 young girls have been...
Piers is pissed off. Piers is pissed off at Tate. And chat, that's a theme you're going to notice throughout this whole live stream. Piers is mad at Andrew Tate, bro.
Hijacked in such a reprehensible manner to attack Muslims when a Muslim had nothing to do with it, right? You put this on July the 30th, you posted a picture saying, this is the man from Cardiff. We're looking at this picture now. That murdered the little girl straight off a boat, you said. Really? He wasn't straight off a boat because this wasn't the person who perpetrated the crimes. You got 4.3 million views for this. And a community...
Yo, what? You lied to 4.3 million people? So you put just a random face of a random black dude, say, yep, this is the guy fresh off a boat. Yep, stress off the... This is what he's just killing people. Bro, this... Y'all get mad when YouTube... They strike a video, and YouTube's wrong. YouTube sometimes they be wrong on some shit, right? Right, like my Donovan Sharp video got copyright striked. Bro, that shit was crazy, right? So if some of y'all wondering why that video's not there, YouTube struck it down. They took it off, right? It's gone, right? So, but some of their choices are bad. We don't complain about it. It is what the fuck it is, right? But there's a reason why they do stuff like this, right? And the platforms don't get it perfect, but sometimes they need to do quality control, because when you guys are allowed to just post and then peddle things as facts when no one is doing any research, this is how problems can happen, right? And unfortunately, this is Elon's platform. There's no quality control there. So you got the biggest goddamn influencer on your platform right now spreading false images. That's not even the guy. He wasn't fresh off the boat, but a bunch of natives, as Tate likes to describe them, right, are going to see that guy. And because he looks so different and because they've been dealing with all they've been dealing with locally, they're going to take up in arms and go avenge what they think it's a migrant off the boat murdering or slaughtering their daughters, like Andrew Tate likes to say. Where was this anger when guys like Andrew Tate were making sluts out of your daughters on webcams online? He fled the UK. Y'all forgetting that. So it's okay for a guy to traffic your daughters, right? But you're not gonna call him out. You're not gonna call him out for that. Like, y'all are so quick to forget. It's so funny. They're so quick to forget. But look at the nonsense he's peddling, bro. Like, this ain't even the guy.
It's clarified. This is not the man that killed, attacked the children and adults in Southport. This image is of Kasonga Mabulu, who was arrested in Ireland in 2023 for a random knife attack at Dublin Airport. So again, 24 hours later, you're posting more.
Okay.
You're posting more. You're
my
posting complete
apologies.
disinformation.
I'm sorry,
it's not okay.
sir.
It's not okay.
Look how nonchalant he is. I'm so sorry, bro. There was massive damage to properties because of this riot. A lot of people got hurt. Old people were getting beat up in the streets, all because of your false posts. And this is your response to that? Oh my God, I got it wrong. I'm sorry. You're fucking evil, bro.
No,
it
Piers,
was not the man.
Did I get the wrong stabber? Oh, I apologize.
Yeah, you did.
Piers Morgan, of
Yeah,
course.
you
I got
did.
the wrong
Yeah,
stabber.
you did.
And he certainly looked very Welsh to me. Let me make this clear. I'm a Muslim, and I think anybody who attacked a mosque is going to have to deal with God. I'm not worried about the full force of the law.
The people you incited were burning mosques. What? Yo, this guy is unreal. Yo, this guy, you see how his mind doesn't know what to do. Now he's got to go back to the Muslim grift. He's got to switch back to the Islam grift right away. Oh, hold up. First of all, I'm a Muslim. You see how quick chat he's gonna hide behind that religion. He's gonna hide behind that religion so fast. I'm a Muslim, first of all. So I mean, you can't say I was inciting violence against Muslims. I mean, come on. I'm Tate. I'm a Muslim. I mean, I denounce people who burn mosques. Of course, dummy. But the people you incited did just that. So can you at least take accountability? Because you are looking bad right now, bro. They did that. They burned out mosques. So are you going to condemn your fan base now or your newly acquired fan base? Like, this is weird.
They should worry about God itself. But I also want to make something very clear to all the people at home and clear to you that most of the white people are very frustrated and they're finding an enemy amongst themselves to take it out on. I think that the white people on these streets have a lot more in common with the brown people on these streets than they do with the politicians, because that's the problem we have here. Keir did not just only say they're going to face the full force of the law. He told everybody with a point of view, everybody who's concerned about the safety of their children, that they are extremists. And that's the most aggravating language you can possibly choose when people finally have had enough of not feeling safe on their own streets any longer. We have people who cannot.
No. You separate those people from the guys who are burning mosques. The guys who decide to take that protest up a notch and start burning and looting, they have ventured into the category of extremist. It doesn't matter what the original intentions are, but when you start harming innocent people or businesses that had nothing to do with whatever you got going on, you're taking extreme actions. And those people engaging in those actions are extremists. So yeah, that applies to y'all niggas. What?
What are we doing? Pay their bills, watching migrants arrive who are now being held up in hotels at the taxpayers' expense for indefinite and periods of time. We're sending billions of dollars to Ukraine. Nobody voted for it. Nobody wants it. And everybody's struggling to pay their bills. Energy prices are through the roof. Inflation is through the roof. Now they no longer feel safe on their streets. They don't want to put their daughters outside to play. The police won't protect them. The police won't turn up for most crimes unless it's something you say bad on Facebook. And when they look for a political solution, they're ignored. What kind of powder keg are we building here through incompetent leadership in the UK? This is nothing but a leadership failure. There's not a country in the world where leadership could fail this spectacularly and see any
Andrew,
different result.
All right. But once again,
I like how you just conveniently skirted the original question. Bro, your leadership is ineffective. You started a riot based off false information and you're not taking accountability for it. You're a feckless leader, bro.
And Andrew, you are spouting nonsense in what you've just said.
Yeah.
Not all of it. Some of it is nonsense. You say, for example, nobody voted for the UK to support Ukraine. We've literally just voted Keir Starmer in the United Kingdom with a landslide majority, and he made it crystal clear before that election that he would be contributing billions of our pounds to help the people of Ukraine thwart a Russian dictator. Well, you may laugh, but you just literally said the complete opposite. So we did actually vote for a leader and a party that was completely committed to dedicating billions of pounds of taxpayer money to helping people in Ukraine defeat Vladimir Putin. So that, again, is a complete untruth that you've just espoused.
I'm sure the people who are protesting up there in the north of England who can't afford to pay their bills, who are watching migrants live for free in hotels, who don't feel safe at night because the police don't have enough resources to turn up and respond to crime, are very happy that we're sending money to Ukraine. You're completely right. Yeah, the fact he only had 20% of the populist vote has nothing to do with it. And the fact that every single party will send money to Ukraine because we live in a uni-party system, which is corrupt to the core in the first place.
No, that's not what it is at all. It's just because England or the UK, whatever the fuck you want to call it, and Russia, it's like ancient, the fucking beef they've got. Okay, it goes way back. It's not even funny, bro. Okay, Russia is right there, and UK, their military ain't what it used to be. All right, their navy is still decent, but it's not. It's not anything that can stop anything. If you want to talk about what's holding Russia back from taking over everything, because a lot of European countries have gotten weak over the years, because y'all can't deny it's gotten weak over there. All right, it's the United States. That's why everybody, every single minute, they got to petition the United States for more money. NATO, who do you think funds that shit? It's the United States. So one agreement I would have is if United States wanted to stop funding this shit and the people were done, fine, because it's majority of the money anyways. But when you want to talk about the UK, it's completely different politics, bro. All right, the people there, they're very, very, very on the Ukrainian cause. It's not like how it is in the US where we're far away from it and we can care less or not. It's right there. Russia is right there, bro. Like, again, I don't, bro, it's like, you've been in Romania for so long. Like, the war was coming to your borders. I mean, oh my goodness, bro. This guy, I don't understand him. He doesn't understand anything, bro.
That's the reason why no matter who you vote for, the migrants keep coming. And no matter who you vote for, the money keeps getting siphoned out of the tax base and sent to Ukraine. That's the truth of it, is that most people are starting to realize and wake up from the matrix and understand there are no political solutions because it's all a scam and it's all a lie. What we need is people to understand at home that we have to think outside the box and vote for somebody who's not part of this two-party, uni-party insanity, which is why I was a fan of Nigel Farage. Even if he sells me down the river, even if he says I'm a bad person, that's his prerogative and that's his decision to make. I still believe he's the best choice as a leader for the UK.
Well, Nigel Farage is not just... Well, hang on. Nigel Farage has literally just chucked you under a monumental bus. He's gone on LBC radio and he said the reason that he himself was promoting complete nonsense about the person who committed these heinous crimes was because of people like you. Andrew Tate, he names you.
Nigga, you thought this far-right grift was going to get you somewhere, huh? You thought, hey, I could just hitch my wagon to a bunch of these far-right politicians and hopefully I can leave this Islam red pill grift for good. You thought you can get away. You don't know these politicians are way more slimier than Fresh and Fit and all these red pill niggas, bro. They're way more, they're quick to cut you and throw you under the bus so fast you won't even realize what the fuck happened to you. So you can keep saying, oh, yo, Nigel Farage, he's still the best guy for us. I don't care. That's UK politics. He doesn't think about that for you. He's blaming you. He mentioned you specifically. He said, yeah, no, I got duped. It was Andrew Tate's fault. He wants nothing to do with you at this point. When it comes down to a politician's career and then, whatever nonsense you guys have, or if you think you're friends, he's gonna choose his career. Nigga don't give a fuck about you. You're just a tool, like the Matrix, he's gonna use to get his agenda across. You're no different from fucking Megan Thee Stallion. How about that, Tate? You're a male Megan Thee Stallion. This is fucking weird, huh?
He says that you were responsible for spinning disinformation, which he was dumb enough to believe.
Well, I never said he was a Muslim. I never said he was a Syrian. I never said he was on the MI6 watch list. The only thing I could have got incorrect is that he was an undocumented migrant. And if Nigel Farage has done that, that's his decision. He'll have to live with his conscience. I'm not here to tell him how to think. I'm also man enough to be understanding that not everybody has to like me all of the time for me to agree with some of the things they say. The biggest problem we have in the world today is everybody's so emotional. Everybody's so upset all the time that if somebody says something bad about them, they pretend that person's completely bad. Nobody is completely bad. Nobody is completely evil. Everybody loves their children. Everybody wants to live in peace. A lot of people talk about the idea of war, but let me promise you, Piers, I'm a person who's had a very varied life. When you see people with machetes outside your door threatening you and the police aren't answering the phone anymore, you don't want war. The Muslims want peace. The white natives of the UK, the Christians want peace. Everybody wants peace. But
white natives of the UK. Like, you can even sense the division even in a statement alone. The Muslims want peace and the white natives want peace. Why not just the UK citizens? I mean, at the end of the day, religion or not, right? You're still a citizen, right? If you are not. So you see how you're just separating people. You know exactly what game you're playing, right? You know your white natives don't like your Muslim population in the UK, whether or not, if they're UK citizens or not, they don't like the Muslim population there. So just come out and say it. They're not shy about it on Twitter, so you're going to be honest about it because we all know what you're talking about. So you can come on national TV and say the white natives don't want. We know who they are. All right, just say it. All right, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, just say it. Just admit who you are. Who are these white natives that don't even like their own? They're even questioning their own citizens because they don't look like them. We all know what this is. Like, it is what it is, bro. But like, you are grifting off of these people. And so which one are you going to choose? Because you're going to lose a huge portion of your fan base, whether it's the Muslims who are going to just denounce you outright, or it's going to be the far right. They're going to denounce you. It's going to happen. One of these groups are. You can't keep this up, Tate.
When you have a political class which refuse to listen to absolutely anybody, do whatever they want, grind everyone into poverty irregardless, then you're going to have some sort of uprising. And it's unfortunate that the poor people, and I call them poor, I mean the average person, is turning on the average person as opposed to turning on the rich elites who are just plundering the country. That's the truth of what's happening. We played it. Yeah. The only thing I had incorrect was that he was undocumented. That's the only thing you could perhaps say he was incorrect.
No, you said he came over in a boat. That was also incorrect. What? He's not even we don't even know if he's Muslim or not. You got all of that wrong. Why? See, this is what I mean. He's beating his chest now, right? He's speaking Tate language. Okay, we're not in the realm of facts and evidence anymore. Okay, he's speaking directly to the dummies in the fan base. Now he's raising his voice and saying, "No, I only got this one thing wrong. That's it." So his fans are gonna say, "Oh, well, it's Tate. He only got the one thing wrong." No, he got every aspect of that fact wrong. He got it wrong. He's not taking accountability. He's just trying to deflect and act like I just got the one small part wrong, but I was right about everything else. No, bro, you were wrong about everything. You incited a whole riot in the country, your country, off of falsehoods. You peddled falsehoods, dude. Like, bro, this guy is unreal.
London stabbing, Piers. The London Bridge attack. He was born in Pakistan. We want to sit here and talk about how a large contingent.
We're not even talking about the London Bridge Act. This is what I'm saying. Yeah, that shit happens. And that's tragic. Those people need to be held accountable. But we're talking about the shit you're directly responsible for. Because people got beat up in the streets because of your rhetoric inciting them to go protest. People got hurt. Businesses got crashed into. Mosques got burned. We're talking about this now. This is happening right now. We're not talking about a Pakistani guy going crazy, all right? That's going to get dealt with. What did you do?
Of the people committing terror attacks in the UK and the most heinous crimes are not natively English people. And when we need to sit here and address this without being called racist, without being called far right, I'm a mixed race Muslim, and I'm pointing out this very obvious truth. If we're not going to be able to...
he goes up the diversity ladder, right? What is it? What is the what does South Park call it? The victim ladder, right? I'm mixed race and I'm Muslim, right? That gives you a bunch of victim points right up here, right? So that way now a mixed race Muslim, right? The liberals can't say, oh, he's Islamophobe, or they can't say, oh, he's racist, because, well, the racist is null and void. He's mixed race, right? He's black, right? And you can't say he's Islamophobe. He's a Muslim. You see how he's trying to like play those two victim cards like on each other, so he skirts accountability? You're doing exactly what you guys accuse the left of doing. This is what I mean when I say you guys are the same side of opposite. No, opposite sides of the same coin. Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. This is exactly what this is. They're employing the exact same tactic, bruh. You gotta stop this, Tate. We're getting too old for this. We are getting way too old for this. This is clear as day, and people could see the manipulation at work.
Point out the truth. What do you expect besides anger?
Well, I mean, the sheer brass neck, frankly, Andrew, of you lecturing me about the truth when you've spent the last week spewing complete fake news bullshit is breathtaking, right? And also, I would say you've also been.
Hey, look, you see how his shirt is like flicking back and forth. My niggas, you could tell he's like shaking his feet. He's shaking his feet right now, bro. My nigga is getting pressed, and he knows it. Watch his shirt, bro. You can tell he's tapping his foot.
In spewing stuff that is blatantly racist. On the 1st of August, you posted a cartoon saying typical man from Cardiff. Let's look at that cartoon. This has had 11 million views.
This nigga's a Muslim? It's obvious what you were doing, Tate. Andrew Tate, this is why your own Muslim fans are questioning you, right? Because they know, they're not stupid. They understand the underground tensions that's happening in the UK right now, right? They understand that. And when they see you posting shit like this on Twitter and saying, okay, yeah, I'm a Muslim in the UK, but I still got family from Syria, or I still got families from Palestine, or whatever the fuck it is, right? But then they see you, Andrew Tate, posting this shit. What do you think they're gonna see, right? Like, again, this is no different than like when old racists back in the day would use these cartoons of exaggerated caricatures of black people to ridicule them on newspapers, right? It's no different. This is what, look at you. Look what you're putting up there. You are going in and you're part of the matrix. You are selling a narrative. So you can't get mad where then when your guys see your tweet, they instantly think, yep, Muslim migrant. Let's go get him. That's all they're thinking. This is what I mean when I say you're galvanizing your base. You're getting them angry and worked up to go do something, and then you're literally putting the face of the enemy, or what you're saying is the enemy, in front of them. And then you're gonna turn around and get mad and say, "Well, Piers, how dare you hold me accountable?" I mean, I denounce people who burn down mosques. Yeah, but that's exactly what they did. Tate, why would they target mosques? Why would they target mosques, bro? Just answer the question, Tate.
Yeah, it's a taxpayer. It's a migrant arriving on the boat with taxpayers' money, and I think a lot of people are upset about that. I want to make something clear because I'm a Muslim myself.
When you say typical man from Cardiff, when you say typical man from Cardiff, you are again telling people that in your estimation, the person that committed this came in as an illegal migrant on a boat. That is not true. None of that is true.
Well, what I'm actually doing, Piers, because you may not be aware of this because you're part of the legacy media machine, which is why you defended Israel so heavily.
I'm on YouTube.
You're not allowed to have your own opinion.
I'm on YouTube.
You're not allowed
on legacy media.
You're part of the legacy.
You're on Twitter and you're still getting it wrong. Like, what is going on?
No, it's on YouTube.
And you're not allowed to have your own opinion. But let me explain something.
Every word of this will go up, as you know.
Perfect. I understand exactly how the media machine works. The fact that they kept highlighting that he's from Cardiff and showing pictures of him as a child, as opposed to showing pictures of him as the large, barbaric man he was, which stabbed those little girls, was a deliberate PR spin by the propaganda arm of the British government to try and subvert and subdue the UK populace because they knew everybody would be outraged by what
So your counter to that is post a photo of the wrong guy of a completely different arrest that didn't even happen in that same time period. So your idea of counteracting their misinformation is by dispelling misinformation of your own. How is that even? What are we listening to? This guy, like, again, the tater tots are idiots, and they buy this. They think, oh, Tate W, typical Tate W. No, you're floundering, okay? Because at the end of the day, you can blame the media and legacy media for fabricating stuff and whatever it is, but you're being held accountable by that same legacy media because you were also fabricating evidence. The photo you put of the guy wasn't even the guy. Yeah, it was an old black dude, but the dude wasn't even committing that crime. So again, you're blaming the media for putting the wrong image and photos out there, but that's exactly what you did, and it caused the riot. Like, I don't know. Like, what I'm telling y'all, like, a lot of these pill poppers, when they get into these far right fields or they get into these politics fields, it's about to get a whole lot more dangerous. I told y'all that, didn't I? The reason why is because these pill poppers don't give a fuck. They will lie, cheat, and steal to get to the top, right? It don't matter if it has to do with people's lives. Now you got the most experienced pill popper of them all, Tate, has lied, cheated, and stole his way to the top, where a lot of people on the far right are taking him as a legitimate source. You don't see how extreme shit are getting now? He's putting posts out there causing riots. He low-key probably getting off to that shit too. He's probably go like, yeah, yo, $5. I'm putting money off there, right? $5 then gets off of that shit. Oh yeah, my tweet caused a riot. Oh fuck, Tristan, come here. Oh, Tristan, come here. Look at this. Look at this. Oh, our tweet caused a riot, bro. Like, he seems like that guy because this guy literally thinks he's a god or something.
Absolute.
That's why every picture of him is he's a kid.
Honestly,
they keep saying he's from Cardiff. This was set up on purpose. Now, the point I was making is
he was literally born in Cardiff. The Matrix didn't pretend he was born in Cardiff. You've been posting cartoons of people coming in illegally, armed on little boats, because you want people to think that the person that did this was that person, but he wasn't.
That's called propaganda, Tate. The same thing you're accusing the Matrix of doing, you are doing. This is what I'm telling you. He's just another rich dude who is manipulating the media while telling you the media is manipulating you by rich dudes. I mean, what are we doing? Like, Tate, you are doing the same thing.
You cut out there, Piers. I think I understood you. I'm a Muslim myself, so there's no reason why I want any kind of violence against Muslims.
He did that on purpose. He did that completely on purpose. He knew what Piers said. There were no interruptions up until Piers asked that question, bro. Yo, Tate, you're a fucking demon.
Cartoons of people coming in illegally, armed on little boats, because you want people to think that the person that did this was that person, but he wasn't.
You cut out there, Piers. I think I understood you. I'm a Muslim myself.
Yo, chat. Hold on. You see how he pretended he didn't hear the question when that shit got real? Because that's a logical question. That's a real logical question. It's like, yo, you're putting cartoons up of people saying that this is the face of the people who are coming over in boats to slaughter your children, right? You're putting these cartoons up because you're trying to make the equation that no, these people are Muslim migrants coming in, all right? And that's actually the term that these guys are using in the UK right now in some of the papers, right? Muslim migrant did this and that or whatever it is, right? So it's all over the place. But what Tate is doing is creating subtly that association with the rhetoric he's saying on Twitter and the posts he's doing. He doesn't have to say it verbatim. And honestly, if he does say it verbatim, it'd be the end of his career because a bunch of Muslims wouldn't understand, oh, this is the game you're playing. You're playing the cloud game. Oh, you're trying to throw us under the bus in favor of the far right guys. That's what they're going to see. But so Tate doesn't do that. Instead, he's like a bitch. He goes subtly. He posts the cartoons. He says everything except for, yeah, that guy's a Muslim and he's coming over the border to kill your daughters. That's basically what he's saying, right? So that's what Piers Morgan just called you out on. What? I didn't hear you, Piers. But I'm a Muslim. I'm a mixed race Muslim. Did I tell y'all that? Maybe I didn't remind y'all enough. I am a mixed race Muslim. All right. So racism and Islamophobia does not apply to me. All right. But I'm free to run amok. Yo, you can't keep this grift up. Something has to give, Tate. You're at that crossroads now.
Myself. So there's no reason why I want any kind of violence against Muslims. That's the first thing that's very clear. And I want to make something else very clear. I'm actually in a quite unique scenario as a Muslim revert, half black, half white. I've had both sides of this dichotomy try and recruit me, perhaps. I can't be taught to hate anybody. There's no Muslim alive who can teach me to hate anybody, and there's no white man alive who can...
Except for women. You ain't got to teach him to hate them. He literally built his career off of that shit.
Teach me to hate anybody. There's no hate in my heart. There's only love. But when you have love, you have protectiveness. And you have to feel a protectiveness for the things you care about. And that's what I think a lot of people don't understand. We call people hateful all the time for having a point of view, especially when they get out on the street because they feel like they need to express it. A lot of these people were not hateful. A lot of these people were full of love and they were full of concern.
You literally encourage people to feel hateful. You've encouraged people to feel hateful because you've encouraged people to believe the person that did this crime, this alleged person that did it, because it's going to court. We have to let the process do its due process. But the person who's been charged with the crimes of killing these poor girls is not an illegal migrant. But you wanted to demonize illegal migrants by what you've been doing in the last week. You wanted people to believe this was one of the people who come over on a boat illegally into this country, part of the so-called invasion. And here's the interesting thing about your position with regard to your conversion to Islam and becoming a Muslim. Muslims, as you know, have been ranting about you for the last few days and utterly betraying them because you've decided to associate yourself with Tommy Robinson.
Boom! Oh, hey, listen, chat. What do you think is gonna happen now? Because Andrew Tate's desperation for clout, he's alienating himself. You can't keep, because like not all groups are compatible. You got to understand this. All right, maybe everyone maybe gets this except for clout chasers. Not every group is compatible. So you might try to court conservatives here. But if you've already court Muslims over here, at some point the ideology is gonna clash. Yeah, listen, you're gonna be fine for a while when you guys are picking on the far left because it's easy to pick on the far left, right? Oh, they want the gays and they want the LGBTQ. I'm Muslim, I don't fuck with that, or I'm far right, or I'm conservative, I don't fuck with that, right? So y'all on the social classes, y'all can wave and vibe very well, but when it starts coming down to the cultural aspect of things, that's where you start to see the real divide. So Andrew Tate was able to ride the far right and the Muslim wave for very long up until this point, right? Because now it's no longer a thing with ideologies with left versus right, conservative versus liberal, right? Because Muslims are conservatives, so are the conservative party and alt-right guys, right? No, now it's a cultural thing. And culture is very, very hard. It's a very, very, very hard thing to try to manage here. And we're seeing that. So Muslims don't trust you no more. I think by the end of this, bro, you're going to lose majority of your Muslim fans. I like the rest of them that are still following you are probably, these young, 18-year-olds or whatever the fuck it is. Their brain's not fully developed. They're still on the Andrew Tate vibes. But like some of the adult ones, right, especially the ones who are very angry with you, especially with this Tommy Robinson collab, they're done with you, bro. This is it. Like, and unlike a lot of these conservatives, a lot of Muslims, they don't just jump back and forth like that. Like, it's very difficult for that, right? You just played yourself, bro. You're not really a Muslim. This was all a grift. It's just coming to a head. So you better go back and embrace Christianity, because eventually that's going to be a problem with the far right. Oh, Andrew Tate. Yeah, that's right. Hey, thanks for helping us win this whole migrant thing. But that whole Muslim thing there. Yeah. No, we're conservative, and over here we believe Christ is our Lord and Savior. So you want to check that whole Islam thing? That's what's coming. And before you know it, 2027, Andrew Tate converts back to Christianity. Guaranteed. That's a headline, chat. I'm telling you right now, in the new era, guaranteed. If Trump wins, Tate's going back to Christianity. Guaranteed, bro.
Is a far-right thug who has been spewing utter horrible Islamophobic anti-Muslim rhetoric all week, and yet you have not distanced yourself from him. So the Muslim community in the UK now view you as part of the enemy too. You know that. How do you feel about that?
Well, I pray for my brothers, and I think the information I've seen and the replies I've seen have not been hateful from the Islamic community. Saying to Tommy Robinson that I will debate him on issues, I don't think is failing to distance myself. I debate you all the time, Piers, and we disagree on basically everything. I'm happy to argue with Tommy because we disagree on so many different points of view, and I think it's very important that we have conversation. The reason these riots are happening in the first place is because everybody's afraid to talk. I'm prepared to sit down with somebody I don't like and don't agree with.
That's complete nonsense.
To talk to Tommy.
That's nonsense. The reason the riots are happening is people like you and Tommy Robinson have been spewing utter disinformation, which has led people to believe that the person that perpetrated these despicable crimes was an illegal Muslim migrant who was on the MI6 terror watch list.
Firstly,
right. I'm saying you and Tommy Robinson,
let's be careful.
between you.
No, you didn't say Muslim. You left Tommy to say that. You said everything else aside from that. You said he came over on a boat and he's a migrant, which none of those two things were true. You lied. And then Tommy Robinson just filled in the rest. Oh, he's a Muslim. And then y'all ran with it. And then it got all the way up to Nigel Farage, and he got it just blew up in his face. You all are looking stupid right now. You guys got shit and mud over your faces. This was a bad look for each and every single one of you far-right leaders. So, hey, how about you just take accountability for it and let's move on? All right, let's just move on so you guys can get because listen, this don't bode well for y'all. What is it? Because y'all are, your whole shtick is the left wing, the liberals are liars. They don't like to take accountability and they promote propaganda. This is your chance to prove that your side is the opposite and you're bombing. You're bombing so hard, bruh.
Between you, okay. I'm saying between you,
but
you
where's the logic
there
failure?
A completely false impression.
There's a logic failure of lumping me in with somebody who I don't agree with and saying, "Oh, you and
so
him."
Do you
said
denounce
X.
Tommy Robinson?
Tommy Robinson and I disagree on a whole bunch of issues. And I think he's completely incorrect on his view of Islam. We're not playing this game of constant denouncing.
Do you denounce him for inciting the rioting?
I denounce him for everything bad he said about Islam. He's absolutely incorrect, and I cannot be his friend or support him for that reason.
For inciting
However,
the rioting by telling people it was a Muslim illegal
I'm not going to
migrant.
Say it's not for me. It's not for me.
That's like someone saying, "Hey, if a bunch of Igbos like didn't do anything, and they were saying, and I was cool with the what do you call it, an influencer who was saying, yeah, you know, we got to get those Igbo guys. Yeah, those Igbo guys are bad people, right? I don't care if like." Whatever, bro, I'm gonna have a problem with you because it's like, yo, you're using my tribe, and then you're trying to assume that we're doing all these terrible things. That's horrible. Like we don't do that, right? So yeah, when Muslims are seeing you partner with Tommy Robinson, a guy who's has a strong anti-Islam sentiment, like it's strong, right? You could say, oh, well, I understand why it's strong. Okay, well, the people who are on the brunt of his rhetoric don't really like that answer, Tate. They don't like the fact that you understand why someone like Tommy Robinson hates them, right? They don't like that. So that's what Piers is saying. Like, yo, bro, you're coming off mad crazy. You look like you're trying to have your hands in multiple different pots and it's not working. You can't possibly hold on to these grifts, bro. Something has to be let go. So either you denounce Tommy Robinson because a bunch of Muslims hate his ass and the kind of crap he's been saying, or you embrace your religion and your people, right? The people who are looking at you and supporting you, because you have a lot of young Muslim fans. The adults are probably already gone, right? Or maybe some of them, because Muslims are fiercely loyal. Some of these guys, right? If you're a Muslim, they'll be loyal just for that, right? But again, most of the adults are probably gone, but he has a huge command on a bunch of young guys. And not only that, a lot of people convert to Islam. A lot of young guys in the West, particularly speaking, converted to Islam because of Andrew Tate and Sneeko. Those are top two influencers that got a bunch of guys into Islam. So again, now they're looking at you and saying, this is kind of interesting. This guy hates us, but like, you're cool with it? What's up? What's going on here? How do you reconcile the two?
To decide who has incited the rioting, and it's not for you to decide.
Well, you can't denounce that.
A court. Denounce what? I'm not going to sit here and say who's in charge of the riots because
telling people he was an illegal Muslim.
my view on why the riots happened is because I believe that the native population, the Christian population of the UK, feels like their voice is not heard. I think if their voice was heard and they had correct
No, that's
political
not why the
representation,
riots
these
happened.
things would not be happening.
That's not why the
That is
riots
exactly
happened.
why
The
they
riots
happened,
happened.
Piers.
The
That's
riots
why they
happened because
happened.
people
Because
like.
Why is he making this a Christian thing? Like this ain't about this ain't a religious thing. A fucking UK citizen went into a fucking dance studio and stabbed a bunch of girls. Like this has like, bro, what? Why you? What we trying to start a religion war? Christians versus Muslims now? Like, what are you doing, bro?
Things are written on social media all day, every day.
No,
and
Andrew.
there's no riots.
No, Andrew.
People finally had enough after endless attacks where they felt like they did not get a voice anymore politically. When you don't have a political avenue, you're going to choose a violent one. I think Tommy is wrong about Israel, just like you were, because you were supporting the genocide in Gaza, and I stood up against you for that. I think Tommy's wrong on a whole bunch of issues.
Genocide
However,
in Gaza.
he has a voice. Yes, you were. He has a voice, and I'm prepared to sit here and debate with him, and I'm prepared to correct him on the things he's wrong about. And for you to sit and then you support a genocide, you're going to say I'm a bad person for saying that little girls shouldn't get stabbed by people who don't belong in the UK in the first place.
He was a UK. He was born here. What do you mean? You're just exposing yourself. He doesn't belong in the UK in the first place. He was born here. He had no control where he was born. His parents were legal migrants. They immigrated here legally. They went through the law. They followed the law. Like, they didn't know they're going to raise a criminal. Most parents don't know they're raising demon babies half the time. The demon just pops out of them when they get to a certain age, right? So they did everything legally. The kid's a fucking citizen. You're saying he doesn't even belong here anyways. Whose team are you on? wait a minute. I'm not sure what's going on here because that sounds racist. That kind of sounds racist to me, bro. Because if you're born here, you're a citizen, right? It don't matter. Your nationality is UK, right? So what do you mean he doesn't belong there to begin with? What? Like, these guys expose themselves, bro.
I don't care if you're a Muslim, I don't care if you're a Christian, black or white.
Okay.
Nobody should be turning up into the country without a passport.
I'm going to respond.
Nobody.
I'm going to respond by saying this. I believe that successive Labour and Conservative governments have completely lost control of immigration to our country, both legal and illegal. They all promised tens of thousands net migration. It's never happened. We now had nearly 1 million people come in last year, net 700, 800,000, whatever it is, most of them legally, completely outrageously large number, which is unsustainable for a country as small as the United Kingdom. We've also got a big issue with, although a much smaller issue, I would argue, with the illegal people coming in on these boats and some of them dying in the process, which is an appalling human tragedy perpetrated by evil traffickers. And this has to be dealt with. So on that, I completely agree. My issue with what's happened in the last week is that we've got Elon Musk talking about there now is going to be an inevitable civil war in the United Kingdom. And I've noticed what he hasn't done. I've called him out on this today. In his series of attacks on Keir Starmer, the new British Prime Minister, he has tried to paint a picture that there is one rule of policing the right-wing thugs who've been attacking mosques.
Did he try?
Well, they have, as you know, and another rule for Muslims walking around armed to the teeth looking for white people to attack. I think both are completely reprehensible, and I'm easily able to say that. The problem is Elon Musk has said nothing condemnatory about the initial rioting, which has continued to go on, which has been anti-Muslim and directly targeting mosques and Muslims for something that they had nothing to do with, which was...
Well, Elon Musk knows exactly what he's doing, though. He knows exactly the game that's being played. He understands the fucking cultural divide that's happening. And you notice the whole Civil War talk that Elon Musk is saying is the exact kind of rhetoric that a bunch of far right has been saying in America. Oh, there's going to be a civil war, left-wing policies versus right-wing policies not collabing anymore. There's going to be a civil war, right? We even see it in movies, being fantasized in movies. We're creating movies about civil war, Americans killing each other. I mean, it's crazy, right? So it's not surprising to see someone like Elon Musk, a media mogul, who you can say is part of the Matrix, right, is out here in the UK say, hey, I wouldn't be surprised if this is going to lead to a civil war because you're going to have the native whites, all right, against all the migrants and the guys pretending to be citizens. That's not true. The only citizens here are the native whites, the native whites UK people. I mean, listen to yourselves. Listen to this. Like, y'all don't understand how you sound. Y'all sound crazy. A civil war. How about you just... like you're seeing the same thing replicate itself in different Western countries. I don't know if it's a coincidence or what, but like it's just interesting watching this all unfold.
The killing of these children, and I have a massive problem with that.
Yeah.
And you have
So
boxed
do I.
yourself, if you don't mind me
So do
saying.
I, sir.
Well, hang on.
So do I,
hang
sir.
on. Hang on. You have boxed yourself into a position now where your own Muslim community in the UK are enraged with you because they believe you are siding with Tommy Robinson, who is leading a far-right series of attacks on Muslims and mosques and is being blatantly Islamophobic in the process. And you know that. And so what do you say to the Muslim community who believe that's what you're doing?
Well, if there's a small contingent of the Muslim community which believe that, I've yet to see so much vitriol
It's
like
not
you're pretending
small.
exists.
Yeah, it's not, I like how you try to label it small. It is not a small contingent. It is a big contingent of people, and you again, you have a battle with culture on your hands. And people can say, "Oh, well, Duke, well, I mean, wouldn't it be religion? Because isn't Islam a religion?" Yeah, it's religion, but it's a religion with a lot of rules and behaviors that you have to abide by. I mean, not have to, but realistically, you kind of should do it, right? So there are a lot of, so it's almost like a kind of like a dean, like an institution in itself, right? That controls aspects of society. Islam is like one religion that kind of does that in a different way. Now, there are other religions that do it to a certain extent, and Christianity a ways back used to do that until it's like, yo, we got to separate church and state type shit, right? So Islam, they don't recognize at all. It's not like that. So there are aspects that do not collab culturally speaking, right? And those aspects is what a lot of people are going to be pushing out on, because, like, again, a lot of big disagreements, even this is what got a lot of people on par with from the conservative side with Islam, or not Islam, with the Muslims, is because they can both agree that Western culture, they don't like where it's going, right? They both can agree on that, right? But in terms of how they're going to go about administering that culturally is completely different, okay? So I don't think Andrew Tate really understands that. He thinks he can just be a Western cultural Muslim and just, do whatever it is, and then just, casually support, this other side that it's like, bro, you do realize that is the direct, pretty much opposite of what your people are looking for, right? They don't want any of that to work. So I again, it's one of those things where, like, I don't think Andrew Tate really invested in the cultural aspect of things when you jump into something, right? When you go into someone's religion, right, you got to really understand what you're getting into, right? That's why when you take an oath, like in Christianity, there's an oath that you got to take, right? You got to take that. You got to say it. Same thing with Islam. You got to take that, right? I think the one in Christianity, you have to accept that Jesus is God. Like that's like, if you don't accept that, you're not a Christian. And Islam, I think there's another one. I'm not a Muslim, I don't know, right? So, but y'all Muslim, y'all can tell me. But like, you have to accept certain oaths, right, and certain things in order to join into that religion. You don't play games with that. They're not joking with them oath they're taking, right? You're not gonna take an oath and say, I believe Jesus is God, and then fuck around and act like he's not important, right? The same thing. You can't take an oath, join Islam, and then turn around and fuck up this massive Andrew Tate, because you can't say, oh, it's a small subset of Muslim that are upset with me. No, it's a large subset of Muslims. Large subset of Muslims. I wouldn't say subset. A large majority of them are saying, yo, Tate, you do realize we are not compatible. Like, what are you saying?
But I want to make it very clear. I want to make it very clear, Piers. I'll make it very clear here. I will answer the question. I am an Islamic revert, and I do not want to talk scripture because there's people more qualified than I, but I'll make it clear. I lead with love in my heart. The Islam I was taught was one of peace and tolerance. There's not a single person alive who can force me to take sides or to hate anybody else. And I don't care what kind of Islamic person you are, to come along and tell me I should hate somebody else because of Islam is not the kind of Islam I prescribe to.
You're an idiot. You should probably read the Quran, bro. All right. Islam don't take kindly to other religions that don't think that there's one God. I guarantee you, you go to Iran and start preaching Zoroastrianism. All right. Well, hey, shout out to the Persians out there, bro. But like, that religion is dead. Only Allah exists, and nothing else exists over there. You want to talk about Zoroastrianism? What the fuck, nigga? Like, they're throwing you off a building or some shit like that. You believe in one God only. So your version of Islam, you've been brought up in the Western milquetoast version of Islam. You don't have the real version of Islam, because real version of Islam, you're not gonna sit there and talk about multiple gods, this and that and this, and have them be okay with that. Like, they're very serious about that. Don't play with that shit, bro. Like, a lot of times, like, this is what I'm saying. You don't get the culture aspect of this, bro. This is what do you call it? Sunday sprinkles. Like, he's choosing his own toppings.
I have half of my family which is Christian, half of my family which is Muslim. I'm half black, I'm half white. I do not want either sides of my family to face any kind of violence on the streets. I'm the person who's been calling for peace. You're reading out the odd tweet here and there. Why don't you read out the 30 tweets I tweeted explaining that we need peace on the streets and we need to restore some form of democratic representation to the House of Parliament? You only choose and lie by omission and try and pretend there's a problem where there's not. I love all of my Islamic brothers, and I also love every Christian, Buddhist, and Hindu. I'm a person who has no hate in his heart, and if anybody has a problem with me personally, I'm happy to speak to them about it. But all in all, I've not seen
what about
this
Jewish
hate that you're
people?
pretending exists. I've actually seen unlimited support.
People?
I've actually seen huge support from the Islamic community. That's what I've seen, because they understand that in Islam we teach each other to live and love
let me
with
read
peace.
you.
Nigga, you're lying. They know you lied. Nigga, the Muslims are not following you, bro. They're looking at you as a traitor. You're betraying them right now. The fact that you went with someone like Tommy Robinson, togetherness, what the fuck are you smoking, bro? Niggas anti-Islamic rhetoric is so crazy. It's not even funny. You say, well, the Islam I grew up with, they accept us. I mean, we're good. We're all good. We gotta love each other and whatnot. This guy doesn't understand religion at all, bro. Like, bro, I'm Nigerian and I grew up with a bunch of Muslims in Nigeria. That's not how that works. I want you to understand that. It's not how that works at all, bro. It's not sunshines and cookies and rainbows and everyone just tossing flowers and dancing around and singing kumbaya and religion and whatnot. Bro, you have no semblance of reality, bro. Listen, this shit is vicious. Niggas are not playing about God out here, bro. Like, even in Nigeria, bro, like, it's dangerous. Like, you're brought up in Western milk toast cereal fucking cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs religion. It's not the same in other countries. So when people in other countries are going crazy off of your tweet, you got to understand that your culture is vastly different. So you need to take accountability and make sure in the future you're more cautious of what you say so it doesn't incite riots, my boy.
We're not sitting here trying to hurt each other. And actually, one more thing.
Stop talking for a moment.
I will say to the Muslim brothers, I will say this. We need to show the world that we are not the hateful ideology they think we are. We need to show the world that we believe in God and we trust God and that we're going to stand up for our beliefs and we're not going to allow ourselves to be watered down or walked all over. But we also need to understand that there's this terrible perception of us that has been painted by the Western media machine. And I like to live with love. When I tell people I'm a Muslim, I see fear in some people's eyes. I spend a lot of time trying to talk that fear out of them. There's love in my heart. There's nothing but love in my heart for everybody.
Yeah, you keep saying there's so much love in your heart.
I will pray.
There's so much love in my heart, but here's the face of evil. These Muslims, they're gonna come in and slaughter your daughters. But I'm a Muslim. I can't be racist. I'm not Islamophobic. I'm Muslim.
Fine. There's a lot of love in your heart, but not, it appears, when it comes to. Yeah, but your first response to the murders of these children was to issue a video in which you spew complete nonsense about the perpetrator being an illegal migrant to this country. That does not fill people with love. It makes them hate all illegal immigrants to this country, as well you know. On August the 4th, you retweeted
Piers,
the notorious white supremacist Nick Fuentes on the subject of the riots. And you said this, he said this, Fuentes, it's clear that not only are these protests being amplified and directed by Zionist plants on social media, but the mayhem will also catalyst a major crackdown on speech and persecution of political right in the UK. So it's Zionist plants are fueling this, apparently. Do you agree with that?
Well, I think the point he was trying to make, and this is the meta point, which is very important, is that fighting each other is never going to work. When you have...
when you're trying to over-explain a racist like Nick Fuentes, you lost the plot. Nick Fuentes, you knew what Nick Fuentes meant with that statement. Let's not make it seem anything else than what it actually is. Nick Fuentes is a known racist. He knew exactly what he meant with that.
People who live on the same street.
That wasn't the point he made.
Fighting each other.
The point he made is that Zionist plants.
Can I finish?
Jewish people.
This guy loves Hitler, by the way, Nick Fuentes.
Jewish
Piers?
people on social media were amplifying the riots. You retweeted it, so presumably you agree with him.
Yo, retweeting Nick Fuentes is crazy. That shit is crazy. Yo, shout out to Lay with the $10 super chat. Let's get a double in the chat from Lay. Lay says, Tates were born in the U.S. to a black father. Yo, you know what that means? Yo, Tate. Nigga, you don't even, according to the native whites, Tate, you don't even deserve to be there. Because, I mean, you weren't even UK born. You're a UK naturalized citizen, not a by birth citizen, bro. You're one of them people that, of your own rhetoric, you don't belong there, right? Even if you weren't even born there, bro. You technically don't belong there. You see what I mean? A lot of these guys, their rhetoric can easily go against them and their narrative, right? It's like, bro, you weren't born there, yet you're telling a guy who was born in the UK that he is not really belonging there. Because of what? His parents were Rwandan? I mean, the racism. Like, what? Shout out to Lady says, but mother had to flee her home country for Great Britain for social benefits. Yeah, because his dad, like quit the military or got fired because he was talking back to some sergeant, right? Constantly tweets about only reproducing with white babies. Saw 3 black men in a row and said needs to move. Yeah. Yo, Lady. Lay funny as hell, bro. Shout out to Lay with the dub.
Well, Tommy and you do work for the same people, so that is interesting that you want to try and bring this point up. However, let me make this clear.
You literally retweeted
when you have people on the same
Fuentes,
street,
who is a disgusting white supremacist who spews anti-Semitic crap morning, noon, and night. You retweeted him. Do you agree with him when he said it's clear these protests are being amplified and directed by Zionist plants on social media? Do you agree with that?
Well, the point I agree with, if you will let me finish my answer. When you have white people and brown people on the same street,
do you agree with Zionist plans?
I'm trying to finish. I'm trying to answer the question. When you have black people, brown people, white people on the same street who are all upset with the government because the government has betrayed them.
No. It's not. That's not what he said, though. You're answering the question with a different answer, bro. That's like saying 3 + 3 is 7. That doesn't make any sense. Okay, no. You retweeted a post that Nick Fuentes said it was a Zionist plot, meaning Zionist is a pseudonym for Jewish now, right? Especially the alt-right, the way they're using Zionism ain't even the way Zionism is supposed to mean. It just means that, you advocate for a state for Israel. But like the way these guys are throwing around Zionism so loosely, it's like it's a new way for saying Jew. That's essentially what it is, right? And no one is going to deny that, right? So when Nick Fuentes is coming out saying this is a Zionist plot, okay, this whole protest that a bunch of alt-right people are engaging in right now, it's not us. The alt-right people aren't doing it. No. It's the Zionists. It's the Jews. Yeah, the Jews are inciting and fueling the alt-right protest. That's why you see these mosques getting burned. No, it's not that the far right are burning your mosques. No, we're not doing this. No, it's the Jews. This is all the Jews. Like, guys, just blame the Jews. We can just blame the Jews, right? Let's blame the Jews. You guys, like, this whole Zionist is getting old. It's getting old. Stop it. All right, and the Jews control the media, yet they're losing the media game. The Jews control every single aspect, yet they can't even. Bro, like, you realize how inconsistent this fucking conspiracy is, right? So now y'all start a riot and you're blaming the Jews. That's not us. It's the Zionists. Yeah, they're the ones fueling this shit. We didn't burn your mosque. We didn't want to burn your mosque. No, it's the Jews. It's the Jews. I can't do this no more. These people are idiots, bro. They're fucking stupid. Stop with the conspiracies. You will lose your fucking mind, bro.
I think everybody agrees that. And they're fighting against each other. This will only result in more government crackdowns and more power against everybody. Brown people and white people, Muslims and Christians. Everybody will suffer from more totalitarianism from the government. Keir Starmer stood up and said, I'm going to be totalitarian and I'm going to use this as an excuse to take away more of your rights and more of your liberties and take away your ability to ever answer any question and have a true point of view, or to ever assemble and make it clear that you're unhappy about certain things.
My question?
What Nick was right about was the result of all of this senseless violence, which is going to be a government crackdown, and everyone's going to lose their.
Okay. Yeah, sure. But was it the Jews though? Was it the Jews, right? Because you retweeted it, right? Nick Fuentes in that tweet was blaming Jews for the protest. He was blaming Jews for burning the mosque, and I'm sorry, bro, but it seemed like that was y'all niggas. Y'all need to take responsibility for that. So was Nick Fuentes right on the Jews doing all the stuff with the riots in the UK? Or was it just black and brown people getting together because they're sick of Muslims and they're burning mosques down? Which one is it? The latter doesn't sound right. The first one doesn't sound right either. What sounds right is you and a bunch of guys like Tommy inciting a bunch of shit with no facts. That's what sounds right. And a bunch of idiots online destroyed a bunch of buildings because of your false narratives. That's what it sounds like to me.
Rights. He was right about that. And that's why it's so important that all my Muslim brothers understand that violence is not the answer. And all of the Christians also who are upset and worried understand violence is not the answer. And that we have more in common with each other than we do these elites who are selling us out. And those are the people who are deciding that these boats can arrive on the border.
Stop talking for a moment. I'm just going to try one more time.
The average Muslim man on the street doesn't want boats arriving of undocumented migrants either. You can't turn up in the United Arab Emirates without a passport. You can't go to Qatar without a passport.
No, but they don't mind having people come to America or the UK or Italy, all right, or France or Germany or Switzerland, right? Those countries don't have a problem with it. Matter of fact, that's where a lot of those places are going up. So yeah, the Muslim countries might not like other Muslims going to their countries, but the Western countries don't seem to mind, and that's where we're at right now. So again, that's not the question, though. that's not the question at all, right? No, it's not that. It's okay, bro. You started a riot. Well, are you gonna just take accountability for that you were wrong? I mean, the guy wasn't coming from across the border. He was born there. So are you going to say you were wrong? Okay. So again, you just say, oh, well, most Muslim countries, they wouldn't accept migrants. Yeah, you're right. But the West does. And now that's why we're in the situation we're in right now, where your boy Tommy is talking about a civil war. So, I mean, can you answer the question here? Were you a part of inciting a fucking dangerous rhetoric, or were you not part of it? That's the only answer I want.
Nobody can't go to Bahrain without a passport. Only in the UK. Only in the UK do we have a country so insane that we have no border. We don't know who's there. Crimes through the roof. Nobody's safe on the streets anymore. And then when you point these things out, somehow you're some kind of racist and bad person. This is not anti-Islamic to say you need a passport to come to the UK.
But that's the problem.
In the United Arab Emirates, you need a passport. They have the strictest immigration in the world.
So does the US. What? So I like how you're trying to make the West look like they're not trying. No. The US immigration policy is insanely stringent. Like most people who become illegals, they're coming off of legal visas. You get on legal visas and you overstay your visa. That's how you become illegal. This whole border crossing thing, yeah, it's bad. Don't get me wrong. Like, I mean, even now with the cartel involved, it's actually pretty bad. It's really bad. But that's not how the vast majority of people become illegals in most countries. They fly in with a legitimate visa, whether it's a work visa or a student visa or some of these other visas, right? They fly into it, and then they overstay their visa, and then they become illegals. And then it's just a matter of time before the authorities catch you, right? Or they evade authorities. It is what it is. But it's not a bunch of, like, the way these guys are explaining it, the migration to Europe, is like a bunch of these immigrants are sending just mass armadas of boats all over the place with just stuff full of migrants just shoved across the border. That's not really the case. A lot of these guys have work visas, and your government's letting them in willingly. It's just that you guys don't have an effective process in making sure that people don't overstay their shit, right? Listen, bro. I don't even want to go into this right now. Like, they're not even on the right train to even get into this. But like, it's a lot more than just, because you got to understand. Like, I mean, there's a lot, bro. Chat, I'm tired. I'm tired, bro. I'm tired. But there's a lot more that goes into this shit, bro. Right? It's not just a situation where people just wanted to come across the border for all that shit. Now, don't get me wrong. You're gonna have opportunities here and there and whatnot to come across the border. But ultimately, look what's going on in Libya right now. Look what's going on in Algeria right now. Look what's going on in Mali, Burkina Faso, all these other places that are just south of the Mediterranean, right? Where a lot of these people are going into France, going into Germany, they just got to cross the Mediterranean, right? So again, look what's going on in all these countries, the coups that's happening, the influences that are being overthrown in favor of new influences. There's a lot of things going on right now that is causing migrant crisis. And by the way, when there's a war, a lot of countries weaponize migrants as a way to fight wars. You understand that, right? So if I want to make sure that I cripple your some aspect of your economy, and I'm a some guy with influence, I start sending migrants your way. That's what I start doing. South Park did this, by the way. South Park did this brilliantly, right? With the PC principal and the frat party episode. Y'all remember that, right? Where Eric Cartman started sending a bunch of pregnant migrants into the frat house, right? That's what this is, right? They're weaponizing it. Russia's doing it. Ukraine does it, right? All these other countries do it, right? It's just how it is. So there are a lot of things that are going on that are just not like a bunch of migrants coming in to do that. Because when we start thinking of it with that dichotomy, now we start to breed hate. Now we start to have situations where people aren't thinking and they're just blindly burning down mosques. They're burning down buildings. They're going after people that even look like they could be Muslim. Like, this is insane. Like, this is how, like, this is, bro, like, this is how we're on a slippery slope here. I mean, we could clown it, but this shit's serious as fuck too.
Fine. Andrew, had you just said that, that's fine. Okay, we would all agree that the small boats is a total
I did say that, but you don't read it out.
It shouldn't be happening.
No, you
didn't. You accused... You told your millions of followers, and it was seen by 15 million people, this video, that it was an illegal migrant who had committed these crimes. That was a lie. Are you prepared to apologize for that lie?
It was a migrant as opposed to an illegal migrant. So I was incorrect.
It wasn't. It was born in Wales.
As opposed to an illegal migrant.
What do you mean? Migrant opposed to an illegal migrant. He was born in the UK. He's a citizen. He's not a migrant. He's a citizen. What are you, nigga? You're a migrant. You're a migrant that became a citizen. You were born in Chicago. You were born in the US. You're not a citizen. You were never born in the UK. Your only lineage to citizenship is your mother, because she was the only one that was born there. But realistically, if we're tracing the patriarchal, your father, your lineage is American, nigga. You are an American boy. That's what you are. You're not from the UK. As far as I'm concerned, you're an immigrant. That's what you are. You're an immigrant. You don't belong there. This guy has more rights to citizenship than you do, just based off of that, because he was born there. The fuck are you talking about? This is crazy just hearing this from him. He's a migrant, but he wasn't. I was wrong that he was an illegal migrant, but he was still a migrant. No, he was a citizen. He was born there. He's not a migrant. You can say his parents are legal migrants. That's fine. But he was born on UK soil. He's a citizen, right? What do you mean he's a migrant still, but not illegal? This sounds racist as fuck, bro. I'm not gonna lie. That's a racist ass shit I'm hearing.
Well, this is where we have the false dichotomy.
He was somebody born here and was legally allowed to be in the country. Do you accept that?
This is where we have the dichotomy of views, which I explained to you earlier on. I explained to you why they exist.
Do you accept he was legally permitted to be in the country?
I'm happy to repeat myself if you don't understand. But when you don't give people a political outlet and they're trying to protect their children, they're going to go to extreme measures such as, I don't want anybody who looks like they're from anywhere else around me because I do not feel like the police can protect me anymore. And I feel like I have more in common and more in synergy with the people who think like and act like and look like me. That's what's going.
The more he talks, bro, the more I'm just like, hey, yo, I just feel more common people think that I look like me, bro. Okay. Okay, bro. Hey, I'm saying, hey, from American to American, bro. You came from a country that's a melting pot. Okay. There are a lot of people that don't look like us. Or talk like us or anything like that, but they're still fucking American, bro. They're still fucking American. I met a guy. He's a vet, but he's from Mexico, right? His parents were from Mexico. And bruh, like, he fought for the country, right? Like, his parents and whatnot. Like, bro, like, how you gonna sit there? Like, the guys that as Americans you can get. right? How you gonna sit there and tell them, oh well, because you weren't born here, right? And your parents migrated here, and yeah, you had to join the military to become a citizen, but yeah, this still doesn't make you American, though. I mean, it's gotta be real. You're just not American. So he comes here, puts his life on the line for you fucks to fucking, have your fucking bullshit, right? But then he himself, you still won't consider him an American? That's bullshit, bro. Like, that's some bullshit nonsense rhetoric I'm hearing. Like, this is real talk. And he's going even a step worse than that. He's saying even if you're born here and your parents immigrated here, you're still not a natural or natural citizen. That's crazy to me, bro. Like, you're nuts. I think if you go to a different country, right? Let's say you're first generation or second generation and you immigrate to the country, right? If you fight for the country, you're loyal, you pay taxes, and you go through the legal system and you become a citizen, as far as I'm concerned, you're a citizen in that country, right? If you're a first generation and you come to that country, you give birth and you have a child, and your child is a citizen, right? And you move on. As far as I'm concerned, that child is a citizen of the country, right? But what Andrew Tate is saying is, no, because you were an immigrant originally, it doesn't matter if you have a kid here and that kid's considered a citizen. Yeah, he's still technically not from here because the people who are from here are the native whites. Like, what are we talking about? What is this? Like, what are we saying? What are you trying to say, bro?
Going to happen.
Right.
This is not me advocating for anything. This is human nature, sir. This is human nature that you were trying to deny. So you can sit here and virtue signal.
It's you spreading lies.
This is the truth. This is human
You
nature, which
literally
is the bottom
spread a
line
lie.
truth of things. If the police kept people safe like they do in Dubai, you could have a multicultural society. In Dubai, you have all different cultures, 80% immigration. Everybody praises it as a beautiful place to live because it is safe.
That's not even, you can't even compare Dubai to most regular countries. Dubai is not a regular country. First of all, hey, the amount of people who are there who are citizens, right? It doesn't compare to most other countries who have a bunch of other people that live there, all right? And okay, they're oil empires. A lot of those places are, right? They're oil empires. They got a bunch of fucking rich fucking Arab kings out there living in there, all right? The way they govern, it's like empire, like a fucking kingship. It's not a democracy though. You have to actually take care of all people. Okay, it's different. And on top of that, a lot of people there aren't just benefiting off of the oil money that their region is generating. Right? That's not how that works. Okay, in most other countries, they have different resources, different economies that they have to tap into. So they have different influences or policies they have to make based off of that. It's completely different. So yeah, the police forces is different in Dubai, and Dubai may seem safe, more safe than a regular country that or a state in Chicago, like, right, what do you go, a city in a state like Illinois, right? It's different, right? But the rules are completely different over there, right? And I love how they try to make these comparisons like they're the same thing. Dubai is not America. America's got problems. Dubai's got problems, but it's not American problems. All right, the citizens are different, completely different vibe, completely different people, a mixture of different people. Right? I mean, what are you talking about? Shout out to Raphael with the 5 says, YK, this reminds me of what Vivek guy says. He says he wants to remove citizenship to kids of illegal immigrants while wanting to be the exception. This is what I mean. When the far right goes too far. This is why they call y'all far right, but y'all don't understand this shit. This is why some of y'all are like, oh, dude, we got to be... No, bro, because this is the kind of shit they're advocating for. It's low-key bigotry. It's bigotry. The far right or the right has been what the right has always been, right? This is what a lot of black folks always feared, right? But now they got so sick of a lot of people on the left that they're flocking to the right, but they're not realizing the right hasn't changed. They're still the same people. I still remember these niggas. I've never forgotten. Oh, Duke. Oh, come on. You got to go off to the right. Fuck the niggas on the right. Them niggas are racist. I've always thought that. It will never change because shit like this keeps popping up. Listen, yeah, the other side, they're fucking up. They're fucking up immensely, right? You're right about that. You're not wrong. But I still remember who the fuck y'all niggas are. We never forgot. Most of us never forgot. Y'all niggas have been the same niggas, and it's showing right now. Some of y'all niggas can't even help yourselves, but you got to bring out the bigotry, bruh. No, you're absolutely right, Raphael. Vivek is insane, but that's what we got. People are gonna rock with it because they're on a wave right now. Nobody has time to think. Everybody has time to jump on the bandwagon. You're the on or off. Which one are you on? Right? It's sad to see, but it is what the fuck it is, right? Like removing citizenships of the kids of illegal immigrants. Like, yo, bro, like if they're born there, it is what it is, bro. Like to remove their citizenship, you're playing a dangerous game. And it's a serious slippery slope down to, oh my goodness, bro. But this is what the right wants.
Because the police keep it safe. When the police fail to protect little girls, you can't walk down London Bridge without getting stabbed. You can't wear a nice watch without getting robbed. You can't walk on your phone without getting stolen. Why don't you just answer my question? Houses are broken into.
Why don't you answer my question?
I'm answering it. When the police fail to protect anybody, you're going to see.
Why did you lie?
Yes, they are. They fail on every level.
Are you prepared to apologize? Why did you lie?
I've already answered and said I was incorrect saying he was an illegal migrant. He was a migrant. And I'm not going to apologize.
Do you know what migrant means? No, he's a citizen. His parents were legal migrants. Yeah, they were legal. He was born in the UK. He's not a migrant. He's a citizen. You're what? This is bigotry, bro. Like, what are you saying?
To anybody who stabbed 3 little girls. Perhaps that's your business, Piers. That's not mine.
He wasn't a migrant. He was born in Wales.
Solitary for the rest of his life.
He was born in Wales.
This is where the dichotomy comes in. The dichotomy I've explained to you 3 times that you failed to grasp. Because your mind...
Oh, the dichotomy where there's a subsect of native whites that even though he wasn't born in the UK, he's still not considered... Or no, even though he was born in the UK, he's still not considered a citizen because of where his parents are from, right? That's the dichotomy you want to bring back to. Well, Piers, I got to bring back to this group I'm a part of. Okay, this group I'm a part of. Okay, there's dichotomy. I mean, even though his parents are from, Rwanda, and he was born here, I mean, he's still not one of us. Just saying. That's the dichotomy I'm talking about. We got to bring it back to this dichotomy. Your dichotomy is racist. Whoever's on that other side, they're bigots. They're bigots. You're saying he's still a migrant, nigga. He was born in Wales. He was born in Wales. He was born in a Wales hospital on UK soil. He's a citizen here. But if that dichotomy of that group still wants to label him a migrant, well, you guys are bigots. That's the only way I can see. I can understand this. You're bigots, bro. Like, what the fuck? Like, how do you justify this shit? Shout out to Super Than Plantano Man with the 5 says, whoever thought the so-called Muslim Tate would be on the side of apostate prophet Harris Sultan and Tommy Robinson, now Muslims are canceling him. This is what I'm saying, bro. I never thought, even apostate, low-key, he's agreeing with apostate prophet. He's agreeing with. I wouldn't be able to tell the difference between Tate right now and Harris Sultan. And we reacted to one of Harris Sultan's videos, bro. Right? I wouldn't be able to tell the difference. Like, they're the same people. See, this is what I'm talking about. Andrew Tate has reached a crossroads of the grift, right? Because he thought he can ride the Islam grift and nobody was gonna care, right? Then the Islam grift started to die down because nobody was paying attention to him anymore. And now the only thing that's popping right now, because it's 2024, is politics, right? Politics is popping right now. Red versus blue dichotomy all over Western countries, right? So he's playing and riding that wave. He's joining up with alt-right in the UK and some of these other places, right? With Elon Musk, they're forming a new pact of the new awakened people, right? Him and all these other people on the right. They're forming a new awakening, right? That's what these guys are doing. So he's partnering with these guys thinking, well, if I jump ship with these guys, I'm going to ride my popularity to a whole new height. He doesn't realize, bro, you're not just going to forget the Muslims that you just built the fucking fan base off of, because now that's a problem you got to deal with, right? Because now you're running up against culture. It's one thing with ideology, because Muslims and the far right, they agree that they both don't like the left, right? I mean, I'm sorry, left-wingers, far left-wingers. Culturally, you're not going to get a bunch of Muslims on board with some of the things y'all got going on. I'm going to just be real with you right now. I'm from Nigeria. I'm going to tell you this right now. They throw gays off of buildings in northern Nigeria. It's not a joke. I'm not joking. That's what some of y'all talking about. Oh, tolerance, peace, love. You're fucking high. They don't play that fucking game. So it's completely different culture. So a lot of Islam and far right, they can vibe on the ideology part. They don't fuck with the left on that. But when it comes down to culturally speaking, yeah, this is where they diverge, right? And now, Andrew Tate, you're at that crossroads, bro, because now you're going to be clashing against culture. And what a lot of Muslims are seeing is, oh, you're taking the Western culture with the whole nonsense, and you guys are coming against us and making us look like we're the problem. But, you know, I mean, what the fuck is going on, Tate? Like, I mean, I thought you were supposed to understand the struggle, right? And it just goes to show you that he never really cared about the struggle. It's not about understanding anything. It's all about keeping you guys signing up for his war room or Tate courses. You got to buy the course. That's all it is, right? And it's sad that y'all got duped, but a lot of people now are waking up. To be fair, we tried to warn y'all. We tried to warn y'all his whole Islam grift was a grift. Shout out to you says, yeah, the Muslims are canceling them, but I think it's too late. If you cancel him now, he's just gonna jump back onto the what do you call it? The whole Christianity alt-right thing. You know, it is what it is. These guys, you should have held. Listen, a lot of y'all Muslims who are watching right now, y'all should have held them accountable when we told y'all to. Y'all should have done that. We were telling y'all from the get-go, hey, this guy's clearly lying. He has the Quran. He took a picture of him with the Quran on his balls. I mean, the disrespect. He did that, right? Y'all should have canceled him there. Y'all didn't do that. We warned y'all. No one listened. And now he's finally starting to split, and y'all are wanting to cancel him. To be honest with you, you know, the more y'all push for his cancellation, the more the alt-right is going to jump on board. And he's going to partner more with Tommy Robinson. And whatever is going on in the UK between Muslims and the native whites, it's probably just going to get worse with him at the helm, you know, spewing hate all over the place. Just being real with you, it's probably too late to cancel him on that front.
I grasp it.
Your mind
I
is
grasp
not
it. You don't think people
enough,
born
sir.
in the United Kingdom are British? Do you now accept that when you said on the 29th of July that there was an illegal immigrant who had perpetrated this crime, that you were wrong?
I accept. It looks like the facts of the matter say, in fact, it was a migrant instead of an illegal migrant. However, there's a huge number of crimes committed by illegal migrants, and I still think the country's not safe as long as they're allowed to come into the country.
Fine. And is your position that somebody born in the United Kingdom is not British?
Now, this, I'm going to have to give you a 30-second answer to, Piers, but this is going to be a very important conversation for decades to come, so please hear me out.
What?
The UK and the Western democracies are the only countries in the world where we will accept somebody born in the country, even if they have a different genetic lineage, are from that country. If you are born in China and you are not Chinese by appearance, they will never consider you Chinese.
But what do you think? What do you think?
Let me answer. But it's not about what I think, sir, because there's a dichotomy inside of the Western democracies, and this is extremely clear. If you do believe that somebody born in the country, irregardless of their genetic lineage, is from that country, the only way you can have a society function in this manner is if all people are fairly politically represented and if there is no two-tier policing. If you're going to allow anybody to come to a country, be born, become from that country, get preferential treatment in the political system and the judicial system, you are going to have outrage and you are going to have riots. If we're going to accept, sir, that people who are born inside of the UK at any point are from there, and that is their country, then it's even more important that Keir Starmer represents everybody. He doesn't stand up.
What are you talking about? If they're born in the country, then yeah, by definition, the politician is representing them because they're citizens, dummy. What? Are you saying even though they're born there and the politician is representing them because their parents are culturally from a different country, by definition, that politician is a sellout? Oh my God. Yo, the bigotry on display is crazy right now. I actually can't believe I'm hearing this from Andrew Tate. But I can believe it because it's Andrew Tate, right? I mean, he did this with women. Why are we surprised he's doing that against migrants now? This is crazy to me. So you're telling me a politician, that's like, okay, because I'm a first generation guy, right? My daughter is born here, right? And she's born because her mother is a Black American woman, right? So again, that's like saying because I'm from Nigeria, my daughter technically she shouldn't be considered a citizen here. Even though she was born at a hospital here, she still shouldn't be considered a citizen here. That's according to his argument. Because if she grows old to vote, right, well, then politicians representing her interests are not representing the interests of the native whites. The fuck are we talking about? Like, what honestly is this conversation? No, she's a citizen because she's born here. She was born here, and when she grows up and gets the right to vote, she gets to go vote because that's what her civic duty is. And the politician who's representing her district has to represent her as well because she is a citizen. Like, what are you saying? What subsect, what crossroad or dichotomy are you talking about that wouldn't even accept this as an idea? You wouldn't even be a part of that. You were born in America. So in the UK, you technically shouldn't have rights. That's what you're saying. So in a country where your mother was born, you shouldn't even have rights. You, your brother, your sister, you're fucking retarded, Tate. You're fucking stupid. This is the dumbest take I've ever heard. You take your racist ass friends and shove it up your fucking ass. Y'all sound crazy. And this is the kind of rhetoric which y'all just make the right look bad. Not all people on the right, but like this is why the far right people are looking at y'all crazy.
And
Fine,
spit
but just to
vitriol,
answer
which
my
is going
question,
to engulf flames.
But to answer
and
my
more
question,
important that we do not have two-tier policing like we've been witnessing.
fine.
It's not two-tier policing if the people they're policing are also UK citizens. You're just saying, oh, the cops are favoring them because they look brown and they're going after the white folks. Just say that. But if they're citizens, it's not two-tier policing because technically they're still citizens, bro.
I completely agree there should be no two-tier policing. Everyone should be exposed to the force of the law in exactly the same equitable manner. But just to be clear, do you personally, Andrew Tate, believe if you're born in the United Kingdom, you're British or not?
Personally, I don't think my personal views have anything to do with it, and I think they don't.
And why are you here? Why are you here? The fuck are you doing here? You're just here for clout? Oh, I mean, I'm just arguing for the sake of arguing. Bro, get out of here with your clout chasing demon ass.
They'll just distract from the point I made. The point I
You
made is that
literally
there's two
put your
differing
personal views
worldviews.
out morning,
Facts.
noon, and night. So why are you dodging the question?
He's literally here for his personal views on Twitter. Well, my personal views are not important. Then why the oh my God, bro. I can't stand this guy. I can't.
Because I don't think my personal views are that interesting. I think I could say my personal
Wow.
views, yes. I believe
What?
if you're born in the UK,
You
that you're
literally-
from the UK. However,
You do? Okay.
However,
Fine. No,
however,
no,
sir,
no, there's
however,
no
but-
whoever.
What the fuck?
You've answered the question. You believe they are British. So after that long speech, you agree with me. If you're born in the United Kingdom, you're British. Now, the other thing I want to get clarity on is this. This tweet from your friend Nick, as you call him, who's actually
it
a white
doesn't matter what
supremacist,
I
Nick
think,
Fuentes.
Piers. It matters what the people who are rioting are
Fine,
thinking.
you made that
And this
point.
is why
I wanted
didn't
to know
wanna
what
answer
you
your
think.
question,
Fine.
because you're trying.
I just asked
you're
you
trying
what
to get
you
a gotcha
thought.
moment, and you're trying to deflect.
It's not a gotcha moment. I'm asking you to be
that's what I
honest.
think. You're right.
Okay.
That's what I
good.
think. But the people who are rioting think otherwise.
So
and I'm trying to explain to you how they think, so we can give them a representation to prevent the riots happening again. I can understand other points of view.
What we need to do to prevent the riots from happening again is you need to get your facts straight before you start pretending that, oh, the person that committed the stabbings is some migrant. You can't even answer the question if somebody was born in the UK, if they're a citizen or not. You're still classifying them as migrants, even though they were born in the country. That's stupid as fuck. Then Vivek shouldn't be running for president. That's what it is. A lot of people should, because he was born here, right? Why is he running for president then? Because technically his parents are migrants, so he's technically not a citizen. And it's crazy that Vivek is pushing for ideas like that too. And then people have the balls to come and ask me, Duke, why don't you support the far right? Why don't you support the right? Don't you know they're your only hope? No, y'all both clowns. I am politically abstaining. Like, fuck y'all niggas. Like, you know, like it's like somebody you go with the left, far left, it's undercover racism, and then you go with the alt-right, or not the alt-right, with the far right, right? You look at them, it's overt racism. This is what I mean, bro. It's like y'all the same people. Y'all go about it different ways. Yo, Malcolm X was on point, bro. You got to watch out for that. Listen, you got the fox, all right, and then you got the wolf. All right, and that's the perfect way to explain both sides. Republicans or far right, wolves. Far left, fox. It's all nice and sweet, but then they come in and steal your fucking chickens. That's what they do.
Where it seems you cannot.
You've answered the question.
Sure.
You've answered the question. Let me now answer this one simply. When you retweeted the white supremacist Nick Fuentes, who you call Nick, on the subject of the riots, and he said it's clear that not only are these protests being amplified and directed by Zionist plants on social media, do you agree with what he said? Is that why you retweeted it?
I agree. I agree with the latter point about how everybody's going to lose their freedoms.
What about the first point I just read out? Do you agree with that?
Well, I don't have to agree with every single point of a tweet. I can agree with the end result of a tweet. I don't know who's
so you
directing.
don't agree with
I
him,
don't know who's directing.
So you, just to be clear,
well,
so
I don't know who's directing these riots.
On social
I just know the end result.
You don't know who's directing these riots, but you're retweeting a guy who's blaming the Jews for doing it. What? Like, I'm sorry, bro. You're a massive influencer. That's not a fucking excuse. You're retweeting Nick Fuentes, who's blaming Jews for a riot you incited. The Jews aren't telling people in New York, or not New York, in UK to go burn down mosques. You're the one that said, hey, this guy, you insinuated that he was a Muslim. You insinuated that. There's no denying that. You, Tommy Robinson, and the rest of y'all motherfuckers, Nigel Farage included, y'all insinuated that this guy was a Muslim migrant, right? And then you said they were, you went even further. You said they were slaughtering your daughters. That's what you said. You're going to let these people come across on a boat to slaughter your daughters. And then when your fans or people online who have millions of fucking, you have millions of views, right, on that tweet alone, when they go out and start protesting, when they go out and start burning mosques, when they go out and start attacking people that look like the people you've been instigating, you can't sit there and say it's a Jewish conspiracy. I mean, at some point, how about we stop blaming the Jews and point the fingers at ourselves? Because you're responsible for that. You incited everything. You and the rest of these far-right platforms, including Elon Musk. Elon Musk is culpable in this. Y'all are all involved. It's not a Jew conspiracy. This is how you foster more hate, more anger. Like, y'all far-right niggas started this shit, and then y'all burn down those mosques. That's why these Muslims, they got machetes now, and they going around beating y'all niggas up. Like, it's a full-blown war out there. And you got Elon, I predict there's a war happening. Yeah, no shit. Yeah, no shit, because you got Andrew Tate fostering that shit. Like, again, this is so fucking annoying, bro. Like, these guys, like, y'all gotta wake up. Wake up, bro.
Right.
I don't know who's directing these riots. I know the end result. I know why the riots happened in my own personal view because of underrepresentation. I think Keir Starmer's failed.
Do you think it was Zionist plans?
Our political classes sold us out. And I think that the end result is going to be bad times for everyone in the UK. My Muslim brothers are going to suffer. Brown people will suffer. Christian will suffer. Black will suffer. It's bad times for everybody. I'm not going to say who's directing what because I'm not sure. I don't know. I'm just telling you exactly why I retweeted that tweet.
But you didn't. The whole point of the tweet Nick Fuentes was saying was Jews are responsible for the riots y'all started. Y'all are scapegoating Jews. Just admit it. Stop this nonsense, bro. You, a Muslim, incited a riot against other Muslims, and now you're supporting or retweeting a tweet that is scapegoating the Jews. Take responsibilities, nigga. It wasn't the Jews this time. It was a Muslim. You did that.
So a white supremacist anti-Semite, Nick Fuentes, blames Zionist plants for amplifying and directing these riots. And you retweet him.
Do you know who he's talking about when he says that?
Do you?
Yes.
Who?
He's talking about Tommy Robinson, who's openly
who's the guy you're supporting? Get out of here.
Do you believe Tommy Robinson incited these things? Because if you do, you agree with Nick Fuentes. You have just been sitting here saying Zionists have been pushing these riots to be clear. This whole interview, sir. So you just fell into the exact same trap. You agree exactly with what Nick just said. So now you're going to sit here and say, oh, he's a white supremacist to try and get gotcha moments when you fail with your own point of view. Tommy is a Zionist, sir. Tommy is a Zionist.
Just to be clear then. So just to be clear, when you retweeted this, you believed Nick Fuentes was talking about Tommy Robinson.
What a fucking retard. Yo, he's done. Anyone that thought Tate walked out of this a winner, you're fucking stupid. I got a bridge in France to sell you. No. I got a bridge in Romania to sell you. You're going to get a deal on it. Trust me. Bro, He's got no answer for this. He's got, now all of a sudden, Tommy Robinson, the guy he's been co-signing for this long. Yeah, no. He's actually a Zionist. Yeah, no, he's part of it. He's a Zionist Jew. You see how they confuse themselves? Y'all hate each other so much. Y'all just oh my God, bro. So now Tommy Robinson is a Zionist. Oh, I'm done, chat. I don't know if I can do this. He's just fucking it up. He's fucking it all up, bro. Andrew Tate, you're fucking retarded. You need help. Get off of social media. Look at his face, bro. He knows he fucked up. What are we doing?
I believe he was talking about Tommy Robinson, but I only agree with the latter part of the tweet, as I said.
Right.
But you agree with the first part of the tweet.
So to be clear,
I don't know why
then,
you're sitting here trying to use it as a gotcha when you agree with the tweet yourself.
To be clear, then you don't agree when he said the protests are being amplified and directed by Zionist plants on social media. You don't agree with that.
This dumb smile he has on his face, chat. Look at this shit. Look at this big dumb smile he has on his face. You know you got when you start smiling like this, bro. You know they got you, bro. Like to just automatically flip and say Tommy Robinson is a Zionist, you're high.
Protests are being amplified and directed by Zionist plants on social media. You don't agree with that?
No, I think that people had a legitimate concern.
Thank you. That's all we need.
I think the UK is a powder keg.
I don't need another speech, Andrew. You've answered the question.
You agree with Zionists.
It's fine.
You believe that Zionists have solved.
No need for a speech.
So now Piers Morgan and Tommy Robinson are on the same side, even though Piers Morgan just got done basically criticizing you and Tommy Robinson for being on the same side against Muslim migrants. So now you're accusing Piers Morgan of being a Zionist. You see how he's trying to flip it? But again, red pill, he's speaking to the pill poppers right now. He's not speaking to normal debaters. Normal adults are looking at Andrew Tate and saying, you inconsistent clown. Like, how can you go on media and make this monumental mistake? This is crazy, right? You don't even look like you're trying to make an argument right now. That's the adults in the room. The kids in the room, they're in the primate brain, okay? They're thinking, oh my God, Andrew Tate is the loudest, and he just called Piers Morgan a Zionist. That means he must be winning whatever argument was going on, because I wasn't paying attention. But Andrew Tate just called Piers Morgan a Zionist. So lizard brain kicking in. Andrew Tate won. Y'all are high. There's small percent of people who are thinking that Tate won this debate for some reason, and he's being manhandled like a fucking child, right? The guy, I don't even think he knows what's going on right now. And honestly, this has probably been out of all his appearances on Piers Morgan's show, this is probably has to be by far the most embarrassing appearance he's ever done on Piers Morgan's show. This is not a good look. Like, it's hilarious because we're laughing at him and how clueless he is. But like, damn, bro. Like, yo, tater tots, this is your king? Wow.
You do.
No need for
you are an anti-Semite.
Let me read to you comments from the influential Muslim commentator who's been on Uncensored, Muhammad Hijab, who said to you this: "My brother, I've always supported you, but you're severely off the mark on the following points. Your acquiescence to far-right figures like Tommy Robinson is haram, as he is an enemy of Islam."
Again, chat, I'm not playing with y'all. I understand. I don't when it comes down to like the do's and don'ts, like within Islam, I'm not versed on that. But the overall structure and like how everything's broken down, I know exactly how that works. All right. When you're looking at guys with the rhetoric of Tommy Robinson and the kind of stuff that they've been saying, and there's some of these other guys too, there are a bunch of other channels out there that a bunch of Muslims will not approve because they've said certain things in certain ways, which to them is unforgivable, right? I know these things, right? So again, Tate siding with guys like Tommy Robinson, and he's thinking it's not a big deal. It just shows you he doesn't understand what he got himself into. Because to a lot of people who are Islam and who are Muslim, it is a big deal. Because Tommy Robinson has said things about Islam that to a bunch of Muslims, that's unforgivable. And when they're seeing you, a Muslim, who's supposed to be for them, right, and for the religion, because I hope you understand this. When you join Islam, it's Islam over everything. It's Islam. Hell, sometimes it's Islam over your own mother. It's Islam over your own sister. It don't even matter. It's Islam over everything, right? That's how that's what happens when you join a religion. So they're not thinking, oh, Andrew Tate, he's just making a political move with Tommy Robinson, and don't worry, it's just a political move. Don't worry, he's not. No. To them, you're siding with the enemy. Right, he said some shit that was against Islam. Now you're an op. Now they're looking at you like, bro, what's up with you, dog? Like, that's your man's, right? That's your man's. Like, what's going on, bro? Tate doesn't understand the quagmire he's gotten himself into, and it's hilarious watching him try to like get himself out of this one.
Your lack of condemnation of far-right thugs who attacked a mosque and who attacked Muslims and Islam more generally. Many far-right hooligans want no peace with us. They consider us to be an impossible subject. Our existence frustrates them. You are one of us. They will never accept you fully until you embrace their beliefs. We worship Allah alone and build our purpose on this. No one can compete with this. I urge you to endorse this message and salvage the situation. Do you endorse his message? Do you now denounce right-wing thugs who committed attacks on Muslims and on mosques in the last week? And do you therefore condemn Tommy Robinson for inciting it?
He can't do it. He can't do it. If he condemns them, he loses the alt-right base he's built. But if he doesn't condemn them, a lot of, especially the Muhammad Hijabs, a lot of these Muslim influencers, these New Age guys, he's going to lose that influence too. Are you guys starting to understand the crossroads I'm talking about that Andrew Tate has found himself in? You can only grift for so long before you end up in this kind of mess. You're going to have to pick one, bro. You can't choose both. There's no way on earth you're going to move past this, keeping your Muslim base and your far-right base. You're not going to do this. Andrew Tate, this might be it for you, bro.
Oh, okay. So firstly, I absolutely condemn all violence, especially against Muslims and against mosques. I know Muhammad Hijab well, and I respect him, and he is extremely versed on the Quran and Islam. He's more versed than I am. I think that by having open conversation with the people I disagree with, I did not see myself as aligning with them, but perhaps this is a perception I need to address, of course. I think anybody who's been violent on either side is doing the wrong thing and is being disgusting. I want to make something.
No. Muhammad Hijab explicitly said you are siding with enemies of Islam. That's a very strong language. He's not saying you're siding with guys who criticize Islam. You're not saying he's siding with guys who may have said something about Islam at some point in time, some time ago. No, he didn't say that. He uses the specific words, you are siding with enemies of Islam, okay? Those are similar words you can hear in the Quran, right? Hey, you got to go, take care of these enemies of Islam, bro. They're all over the place, bro. You got to take care of them, right? He's using those same words. So you sitting there trying to make it trivial, you're missing the point. Muslims are not fucking with Tommy Robinson. The fact that you're out here publicly courting the alt-right, they're not fucking with that either. So they're giving you an ultimatum without telling you it's an ultimatum. That's what Muhammad Hijab is saying. So there's no way on this goddamn planet you're going to get your cake and eat it too, bro. You're going to have to choose one. Are you siding with the enemies of Islam with Tommy Robinson, or are you going to side with Islam and the one true God? Right? Because hey, listen, it's not me making it religious, it's him, right? But again, that's what it's gonna come down to. And I don't think they're trying to hear this bullshit about, oh well, I'm just trying to have a dialogue. We're just trying to talk, and we're just trying to, if we could just open up a nice dialogue to talk with our enemy. No, you don't understand Islam. You don't talk to the enemies of Islam. You take care of the enemies of Islam. That's what Muhammad Hijab is telling you, bro. So who are you, Andrew? Huh? Hey, I know you're coming at a point of time with, you got to face some identity stuff, right? Identity crisis. Andrew, who the fuck are you now? Are you a Muslim or are you one of these Christian guys?
Clear. Piers, you do this very common trick of me explaining to you why I believe something is happening and then you saying that that's my point of view. I'm not saying I agree with right-wing people who are rioting and attacking Muslims. I'm telling you why I believe they did it. I believe they did it because they didn't feel like they had political representation. That does not mean I represent them. That does not mean I advocate for them. That does not mean I agree with them. That's not why they did it. I just sat here. I just sat here while you told me Nigel Farage sold me out, and I said that's fine. Yeah. I still agree with some things he says. I'm a very logical person. I'm not emotional about these things.
Well, if you're logical, you'll understand. But Andrew, if you're logical, you will understand that is not why they did what they did. It's not why they rioted. They rioted in direct response to a social media-led campaign of disinformation, which told them that the person who killed these little girls was an illegal immigrant Muslim who was on an MI6 terror watch list.
This is very important.
Yes, no, seriously, y'all peddle these conspiracies so much. That's what happened, bro. So you can claim, oh, I'm Muslim, mixed race all day long, but you were part of a cabal that perpetuated a lie that got a bunch of mosques burnt. I mean, you're a Muslim, yeah, but you yourself got a bunch of other mosques burnt, a bunch of other Muslim dudes hurt. So, I mean, you're no different. You're no different than that Jewish guy. Who's that? George Soros. You're George Soros, bro. Because George Soros is a Jew and acts against Jew interests, right? You yourself are a Muslim acting against Muslim interests, and voila, lo and behold, you're also wealthy, right? You're exactly like a Soros, but on a lower level. That's what you are. You're acting against your own interests because what you said incited a riot. And all you didn't even do it for Islam. You didn't do it for, even caring what happens in the UK, right? You did it because it's getting you on Piers Morgan. That's all this is for. He's on Piers Morgan right now, right? And for him, that's all that matters.
None of those things were true.
Piers, this is very important, sir. And I consider you in many ways a friend. This is very important. You advocated, please let me finish this. It's 30 seconds. You advocated for the vaccine and you got people killed. You are now going to be advocating for people to lose their freedom of speech online. And there's not going to be anyone's going to be allowed discourse anymore because you're sitting here pretending that somebody making a video being upset about little girls dying is the reason the UK was set on fire and not the failure of politicians across generations, sir. That is a fallacy.
It was
it is a fallacy and it is dangerous. It is dangerous for you to even.
So Andrew Tate is right. Right? It's not because of his one rhetoric that got a bunch of people all of a sudden ready to go to burn down mosques. It's not just because he's right. There was a buildup of politicians' mismanagement, right? He's right. But Andrew, your videos and followed with a bunch of videos by guys who are associated with you retweeting Nick Fuentes, Tommy Robinson, Nigel Farage, right? The whole media campaign was literally the last straw. It was the straw that broke the camel's back. When you started saying they're slaughtering your daughters, right? And they're coming across the belt, slaughtering your daughters, right? And when you have all this stuff built up, they look at that and say, you know what? That's the powder keg. And it got lit. So yeah, you're right. It has been a buildup, but you were the last bit of dynamite that blew this whole thing up, where mosques are getting burned, far right, even your own people getting who is your people? Are the far right your people or the Muslim your people? Either way, they're both getting hurt in the streets, right? You got Muslims walking around with machetes, beating down guys who are far right. You got far right going around beating down Muslims. It's bad. It's really bad, bro. Like it's not a joke. These guys are serious, right? And your tweet was the straw that broke the camel's back. So are you going to take accountability for that? I haven't heard anything yet.
About who had done it.
Because we're going to end up in a world where no one is allowed to talk anymore. And it's going to be people like you who advocated for it. And when everyone's sitting at home without a point of view, then the slavery is going to be fully implemented on the populace. And you are a bad person for trying to get people's point of view taken off the internet.
No, fine.
How is Piers Morgan trying to get your point of view taken off the internet? No one's trying to do that. Matter of fact, there's a reason why guys like you get canceled, because if it doesn't happen, you end up inciting nationwide riots across countries, bro. That's what you end up doing, right? So if you imagine if he had YouTube reach, imagine how worse this could have gotten. Right? Sometimes, again, I'm not advocating for cancellation and whatnot because I get canceled. Like my videos got struck down. I almost got a strike on my channel, bro. Right? But like again, I'm not for it, so I get that. But the thing is, I understand why it happens because y'all niggas that get it wrong all the time, inciting riots. That's what happened. You got it wrong. You got it wrong. Down to the goddamn nationality. He was born in Wales, bro. He's not an immigrant. Even till right now on Piers Morgan, you're still calling him a migrant. That's a dog whistle. You don't think, bro, listen, I've lived in America long enough. I've listened to U.S. politicians long enough to understand a dog whistle when I hear one, right? Especially when somebody's trying to, speak code to their audience on low key, right? What you're doing is dog whistling, bruh. Oh, he's a migrant. He's just not an illegal migrant. What does that even mean? He was born in Wales. Yeah, but he's still a migrant, just not illegal. What? No, that's a dog whistle, right? Because then he's telling he's dog whistling to the native whites that, hey, listen, I got you, okay? Because even though he's born in Wales, he's still not like us. That's what he's doing. That's what they do, right? These far right guys, this is what they do. So it's like, bro, like, miss me with this bullshit, bro. We know exactly what kind of time you're on. Like, this is sad. Right? Like, anybody that don't see this right now, you're high, bro. But I think a lot of people are seeing this. Tate, you can't keep this grift going. You got to choose one now. Congratulations. You pigeonholed yourself.
There are perfectly legitimate questions, as I've been agreeing with you about in this interview, about the levels of legal and illegal migration to the UK. They are simply unsustainable, and I will be hard on Labour until they work out a solution.
We can't talk about it online.
There are also plenty of
you just
issues.
Said if we talk about it, there'll be a riot.
No, that we are.
But there was a riot because you were talking about it with misinformation. That's the whole point.
Talking about it, and you have millions of followers.
You just said we
You're
shouldn't be
silent.
allowed to.
You have a
you
platform.
Just said we should not be allowed to talk about it online because it will
you have a responsibility.
Bro,
you have a responsibility to be accurate. Do you agree?
Oh, absolutely. And I was 95% accurate, which is more accurate than the BBC's ever been about.
You were not 95% accurate. You said he came over on a boat. You're still calling him migrant, even though he's a citizen here. You were wrong on all counts. He was born here. He didn't come over a boat. And I don't know if he's Muslim or not. That fact we don't know yet. But Tate didn't mention that, to be fair. Right? Tommy Robinson did. And they all co-signed it. That's why everyone thought, he was a Muslim, right? But no one actually did the facts. So again, Tate, you weren't 95% correct. You weren't even on the scoreboard. You failed. You lost. Okay, that's the whole point. That's the whole reason why you're on Piers Morgan right now. You dropped the ball, and what made it worse is a politician, a UK politician, Nigel Farage, took you and your word at face value. They need to get rid of him right then and there. Nigel, I'm sorry, bro. I don't care. You can try to throw Tate under the bus. This is your fault. You listen to him. Why you listening to Andrew Tate for? Isn't that why you went to school to be a politician? That nigga didn't go to school. That nigga started kickboxing. Got knocked around the head a couple of times and started to start a webcam business, trafficking women. That's what he did. That's who you're fucking doing right now, bruh. He's got charges pending in the UK. That's your jurisdiction, nigga. And you're taking his word when it comes to a migrant coming across the boat. And now you getting lit up. You trying to say, it wasn't me. It was Andrew Tate. I just listened to Andrew Tate. I didn't know. I had no idea. Nigel, do you think the UK population will believe that? Do you think they believe that you didn't do your research? Yes, I think they will. I think they more than likely will.
Anything, or you for extension, most of the time. You've been wrong a whole bunch. Do you condemn Israel? Do you remember that? October 7th, do you condemn?
I do.
Condemn Israel and their genocide? Oh, it's about time. So I was right back then, and it took you 6 months to catch up, and you're going to see in 6 months.
No, you weren't right back then.
Right.
Bro, no, what? Piers did condemn that. The only thing he was trying to do was get you to condemn the other side, which you didn't. Wait, why are we even talking about Palestine? We're talking about you and the riots you started in UK.
If we don't,
you said,
I'm right. If we don't cure the disease, which is people feeling underrepresented by the political class, the symptoms, which is violence, are going to continue to prop up all around the country.
Fine, but
forever.
what you don't seem to want to accept,
sir.
Fine, what you don't seem
and what
to
you don't want to accept is that what you are saying is that the politicians are perfect and they've done nothing wrong, and the people have no good point of view.
That's not what he said at all. Who keeps giving this guy a voice? Like, what? Can we just start collectively ignoring this guy? I mean, he's going to prison anyways. Let's just have him just quietly go away. Why do we have to entertain this? Like, clearly he knows what he's doing. He's doing this for clicks and views. Every time people watch this, there's more people paying the money to sign up for his War Room course, which is like what it was, $8,000. Like, why are we entertaining this? He's clearly not here for a serious conversation. Like, honestly, I'm being real with y'all. This is not, you can see the deflection at play here. He's clearly deflecting. He has not once answered his question nor taken accountability for it. So what are we doing? What are we actually having this conversation for? And Piercey boy, this is where I got to get on you for a second, bruh, because methinks the reason why we're having this nonsensical conversation is because you wants the views. Because say what you want about Andrew Tate and how this conversation realistically doesn't benefit anybody. I mean, definitely not him, but it's Andrew Tate making an ass of himself. And yes, that brings views. So Piers, you little clout chasing Piers, come on, don't tell me 3 million views in 3 days. You want to tell me that's not big motivation enough? So again, I don't think any of these guys are real about this conversation they're trying to have. Piers is using Andrew for clout. 3 million views in 3 days. That's crazy, right? And Andrew, this is his last bit of relevancy, right? On a mainstream media platform. I mean, the last gasp of a dying entity is what I see.
And that we should shut everyone up online and not let anyone talk.
Complete nonsense.
You are advocating for slavery for the population. That's what you're advocating for.
Let me speak. Nobody is shut up online. Elon Musk has made it much easier for everyone to be online and have their say. You do it all day long. You spew a lot of untruths. And I'm simply asking you, when you're wrong and what you say helps influence minds to go and commit riots, as it did, because you and Tommy Robinson, between you and others who were amplifying and spreading this bullshit about who this person was, ended up with rioting against Muslims who had nothing to do with the killing of those girls.
Pierce.
And you, as a Muslim of all people, should have been the first to denounce it.
Of course, Pierce. Pierce. The logic failed. You're a smart man. But are you trying to say that if you say anything online, you are now responsible for all the consequences of that action?
Yes, especially if you're saying, hey, why aren't you going out there protesting police buildings when these guys are coming across the boat slaughtering your daughters? Yeah, bro, that's a big difference. What are we talking about here? You were inciting. You were pulling the Trump move, bro. This is incitement through and through. You wanted them to go out and protest, and that's what they did. And what happens with protests? They almost always go bad. I fucking told you this shit was gonna go bad. All protests, they almost always go bad. And it went bad. All right, people started fucking burning mosques, and then you got these Muslims coming out with machetes, and now they're clashing with far-right guys, and now people are quickly trying to make this a religious thing, right? You sparked all of that, Tate. That was you. So you sitting there saying, oh, well, anyone can say anything. How am I responsible? Because you were making and saying insightful remarks. That's what you did. You did that. You used those words. Stop it. We're not stupid, bro. You're the false equivalency is crazy.
So if Cardi B sings about how she can drug men and lie that they raped her, if a girl then lies about being raped and ruins that man's life, Cardi B is responsible? Is that what you're saying?
They didn't lie about you raping them girls, and you're being held responsible right now. What does Cardi B have to do with this?
That is asking you this. Such a logic fail. It doesn't even make sense.
No, I'm not saying that.
There's a lot of people who say a lot of things online. There's a lot of people who advocate for insane things online all of the time.
Fine, stop shouting.
I'm not telling you to not be able to talk.
I believe you've accepted in this interview that you spread disinformation about the person who perpetrated these crimes being an illegal immigrant to the UK. Would you like to apologize for spreading that wrong information?
If the whole video was expressing my distaste, dissatisfaction, and disgust at the events that took place, I believe that I was 95% accurate and got a detail wrong. I didn't get anything important wrong. A 17-year-old man stabbed little girls in a Taylor Swift concert. And
people attacked asylum seeker hotels
that shouldn't
because
ever
they
happen,
believed
sir.
it was an illegal migrant.
That should never happen anywhere. So for you to sit and say, oh, well, us as the legacy media who never get anything wrong ever expect 100% accuracy when all you do is lie. I made it very clear that it is unacceptable that little girls die on the streets. And that people need to make it clear that we are not going to accept this.
No, you said specifically they are slaughtering your daughters. That's what you said. When you say slaughtering, Like, to me, that's a very that term gets you animated, bro. Because especially when you're saying slaughtering my daughters, right? I'm a man, and I have a, again, men and women different, but I have a natural instinct to want to protect my daughter. And if you're saying, hey, they're slaughtering your daughters, if I'm a guy who's not so smart out there, and I'm listening to this guy saying, hey, this guy, you know, this Muslim guy or this migrant guy came in and stabbed a bunch of girls, and I have daughters, and, you know, Tate's telling me to go do something. Yeah, that you can see how that can galvanize people to go do or make stupid decisions. So that's why words are important. That's all we're saying, bro. You got to watch what you're saying. You're a massive platform. You can't be using very, very charged language like that, because words have power. If you're using the words of slaughtering and they're killing and they're destroying and doing, these are powerful words that will move people to action. So you can't be surprised that your fans, because that post got 4 million views, right? You can't be surprised people went out there and started doing crazy shit to mosques and buildings. You can't be surprised this sparks shit, because you incited that riot, bro. You and a bunch of other people. Shout out to I Don't Play Games for the 5. I Don't Play Games says, I'm not a Tate fan, but can you stop saying he's going to jail? That's cap. I think they dropped his charges. What? No fucking way they didn't, bro. What are you talking about? They didn't drop his charges. Last I checked up on it, they eased the travel restrictions, so he can now travel more freely than what he had before. But they didn't drop the. What are you smoking? No, they didn't drop the fucking charges. You kidding me? All of them? No, bro. The charges are not dropped at all. See, this is what I'm saying. Like, the legal process for Tate, it hasn't even really started yet, right? We're still in the pre-trial and all that stuff like that. It hasn't really gone. See, that's what y'all don't understand about legal processes. They take extremely long, right? So even though the judge is saying this and they're easing restrictions here, it doesn't mean that they're letting the Tates go scot-free. No, they didn't drop the charges, bro. They eased the restrictions, yeah, but that's no different from easing the restrictions from the last time they did it, right? They did it before, they're doing it now. It's gonna be, all this is telling you is this is gonna be a very long drawn out trial period. That's what it's telling you, right? So you can't, just because you're not hearing up-to-date news, no, he's going to jail or prison. It's gonna happen. It's gonna take a while. So why not ease his restrictions?
It's about who did it.
You've spread plenty of lies for yourself.
And the lies have caused the riots.
For you to sit and say that my video is the only reason there was riots is disingenuous.
I didn't say that.
Dangerous.
I said you
are
Tommy
going to be
Robinson,
the person.
You're
going to be the
others
person
spreading
who takes away
bullshit.
everybody's ability to express. You're going to take away everybody's ability to express their opinion. And let me tell you something. People who don't feel politically represented at least feel like they have freedom of speech online. If you take that away as well, things are going to get a lot worse. It's going to be worse for the country. Piers.
What does that mean? Is that a threat? So if we don't give these insane people the right to fucking peddle lies online, if we don't give them the right to do that, because again, these social media companies, I stress, are not public institutions. They're private institutions. So if we don't give these private institutions the power to censor and not censor people, well, guess what? You're going to see more craziness in the streets. You're going to see more craziness in the streets. Censorship belongs in the hands of the private institutions. That's what you're advocating for, because it's not the public banning you. It's the platforms, right? It's the platforms who are owned by multinational billion-dollar investors, okay? That's what it is. So, again, I like how you try to make this a free speech issue, where free speech doesn't even have – it's not even in the dialogue right now, because we're talking about free speech on private platforms. I think we all just conveniently forget that. You want real free speech? Hey, start lobbying antitrust lawsuits against every single one of these social media companies. Then we'll talk about free speech. Let's get it. Antitrust lawsuits for everybody. You want to talk about free speech? Let's talk about free speech. Don't send me talking about a fucking private platform that owns a lot of things, and then they decide to can you because it goes against their bottom dollar or ad revenue, and you're going to sit there and say, oh, they're canceling me for free speech. No. It wasn't the government that canceled you. It was YouTube or Rumble or whatever platform you get kicked off of. Okay, so again, I think that when we start to make this free speech argument in a world where social media is dominated by private institutions, there's a significant mismatch here that we're not considering.
You have to be careful sitting here on your show telling people that unless they said what you want them to say, they're not allowed to be on the internet. You are talking Stalinist.
When did I say that?
It's communist. It's dangerous.
When did I say that?
That's exactly what you
when
said.
When did I say
you
that?
said that anyone
You're
who says
lying
anything
again.
online is causing the riots themselves directly, and they're directly
You're lying
responsible.
again.
And there's no powder keg in the UK due to a failure of the policing and the judiciary and the politicians. And you're sitting here, and I'm telling you, Piers, the things you're advocating for are going to cause more death and destruction than that vaccine you pushed or that country you support as they bomb little children. Piers, be very careful what you say.
Yeah.
What does that mean? I like how you're projecting. You're telling Piers to be very careful for what he says, yet you were reckless and incited a whole ass riot in your own country. Like, I like how you were reckless in your rhetoric, trying to tell him to be careful what he's saying. What are we talking about here? Like, you see the flip? The switch up is crazy to me right now.
Listen, I'll take your lectures morning, noon, and night. It makes no difference to me whatsoever. But would you like to take this opportunity finally to tell the rioters to stop rioting? Yes or no?
Absolutely. Well, considering I've been saying that for the last 4 days on Twitter and you didn't read any of the tweets out, they should be in front of you. There's at least 30. Let me make it clear to the people on both sides of the equation, all of my brothers in Islam and all of the Christians and native people of the UK who feel like they're underrepresented. You have more in common with the...
I love how he says that. All the Christian natives in the UK that feel underrepresented. The dog whistling. Y'all don't hear this shit? Hey, listen, maybe it's because I grew up in America. And, like, listen, I grew up around black culture so much. You hear this shit all the time, bro. Like, listen, dog. I hear this shit right now. This nigga is the native whites. Wait, listen. Listen, as a black man in Wisconsin, you hear this shit all the time. You hear shit like this all the time, bro. And you start to pick this up. What do you mean by that, Tate? What do you mean by the native white Christians that are not feeling like their voices are being heard against the onslaught of migrants? What are we talking about? Who are those people you're talking to? Who are the natives? Again, bro, like I'm hearing this and I'm just thinking, wow, bro, like you really trying to play both sides? Hey, Tate, you think this is a game you can pull off? Listen, you're a smart guy. Like, you're dumb, but you're sharp, right? I'll give you that. You're not smart, you're sharp, right? Listen, you're not gonna pull this off, Tate. I'm telling you right now, you're not gonna pull this off. There's no way you're gonna pull off getting Christian natives and Muslims on the same team supporting you, especially after this bullshit. You got to pick a side now, bro. Because if you got influencers, especially on the Islam side, like Muhammad Hijab telling you, bro, hey, Tommy Robinson is the enemy. You can't endorse this guy. And you're sitting here saying, no. We can work together. Kumbaya. You can't sustain this, okay? The culture just does not sync. You got to pick one. Is it Islam or is it the native Christian population in the UK, which you're not even a citizen of? Or I'm sorry, you are a citizen of, you just weren't born there. But in your definition, even if you weren't born there, you weren't a citizen. I mean, you can't make this shit up, bro.
In front of you, there's at least 30. Let me make it clear to the people on both sides of the equation, all of my brothers in Islam and all of the Christians and native people of the UK who feel like they're underrepresented. You have more in common with the people you live amongst than you do with these political elites. The people you live amongst love their children and they're struggling to pay the bills exactly like you are. There's no reason for UK, one of the greatest countries in the world, one of the largest empires in history, to be plunged into poverty if it wasn't being looted by a political class that do not care about you. And the people who do not care about you, the number one thing they want is the different breeds or different types or different categories of poor people to fight so nobody looks up and sees who the real enemy is.
And Tate's right. It's always the rich manipulating the poor to fight each other. But Tate, the reason why you're on this interview right now is because you were part of that cabal. You were a rich guy who basically put out false information that got a bunch of poor people burning down each other's mosques and churches. That's what you did. You were responsible for that. So I get it. You're right. The rich played a game where they get poor people to fight each other, but that's the game you played. That's the whole reason why you're here. You got Christians and Muslims fighting each other in the UK right now, burning each other's churches and mosques down. That's what you did. So what are we talking about here? Like, get out of here with this bullshit.
Britain can be a rich country and it can be prosperous and it can be safe and it can be regulated and the police can respond and it can be as beautiful as a lot as the first world Islamic nations are. There's no reason why it has to be the way it is unless a political class was failing the people who they're supposed to represent for generations. And that's where this anger and hatred comes from. Not because a video was made on Twitter. That is so infantile and asinine to believe that some little video on Twitter started all of these things.
Here's what
That is what's happening. So stop rioting amongst each other.
Yeah, because these guys, they knew for a fact the elites were screwing them. So they realized, hey, you know what? The elites are primarily made up of Muslim migrants. So let's go burn down their mosque. That's where the elites are. Is that what you're saying? Like, these guys knew the elites are the source of the problems, so they started, burning down these elites in their mosque and their migrant homes. Are you fucking high, bro? Like, you know exactly what the fuck this is. You know exactly what the fuck you incited. You incited hatred, bro. You're a rich guy trying to get poor white folks angry at migrants. That's what you're doing. It's no difference than what's happening in America right now, where they get a bunch of alt-right guys pissed off at Mexicans or pissed off at immigrants. That's what y'all are doing, right? It's the same. It's the same fucking bullshit replicated in other Western countries, right? This is what I'm talking about, bro. You got to be careful what you say online. Shout out to Arnav with the 5 says, our peers are a character. They grift Islam because of the misogyny, homophobia, and poly marriages. But when they can't do haram things, they denounce Islam. You know who came to my mind with this comment? Sneeko. Absolutely, number one came to my mind, because again, they like all of it's like cherry picking, right? They like certain things about the religion because then they have a what do you call it? A justification that's so high that you can't question it. And what's an authority so high that you can't question? Well, it's God, of course. So if God's saying that I can have all these different things, well, I can have all these different things. It's God. But wait a minute, when it's not convenient though, right? Then all of a sudden, what? No. The native whites. Yeah, the native white Christians. I mean, they're being persecuted right now. What's up with that? Can we talk about that right now? Like, I mean, this shit is hilarious, right? I guess, chat, this is what I keep telling people. Like, you can't trust a red pillar. I'm sorry, but you guys have to get that in your minds. You can't trust a pill popper. Repeat after me, okay? Some of y'all tater tots in the chat right now, okay? Repeat after me. You cannot trust a red pillar. Why? Because they grift. That's all they do. They don't care what it is, what's happening. Matter of fact, right now as we speak, there's a red pill yacht party going on in Miami that is a total bombshell. Like, I'm telling you, a complete sausage fest. It's happening right now, okay? Do not trust red pillars. They might tell you this time it might be different, but it's always the same bullshit. I trust me, okay? Okay, Andrew Tate is no different. I'm telling y'all, chat, these guys, when they're opening up their mouths, they're lying to you.
Realize who the real enemy of your freedom is. When you understand the truth about this world, listen, I was born on a Luton Council estate, and now I have hundreds of millions of dollars. And let me promise you, it's never poor versus poor. It's rich versus poor. When a black billionaire and a white billionaire,
and you're a rich guy, what does that make you?
There is no racism because they are billionaires. Racism is what they use to divide the poor people, to stop us realizing that they lie about every single thing on the news.
Says the rich guy talking about native whites in UK. Oh, yeah, the rich guys are trying to divide you. But, yeah, the native whites, I mean, they've been persecuted for so long. I mean, we have to talk about the plight of the native whites, okay? The indigenous white people that have been in here. What about the whites? This is reminding me of a South Park episode, chat. All right, I'm sorry. I'm on my South Park shit right now. I'm sorry, bro. Y'all gonna have to endure this with me, all right? I'm on my South Park, but like they called this shit, right? What about the whites? Y'all remember that? What about the whites? The whites are always getting persecuted. What about the whites? And who would have thought Andrew Tate, wasn't Andrew Tate on South Park too? But who would have thought Andrew Tate, right, would be out here sticking it up for the whites, huh? Hey, listen, the native whites, you're out here race dividing people between native whites and migrants. We're going to sit here and talk about how the rich is dividing between the migrants and the poor. What the fuck are you doing? You're a rich guy doing the same thing online. Get the fuck out of here, bro.
They inflate the currency constantly. They send our money away to wars we're not interested in. Nobody can afford their bills. Nobody can afford health care. And you're going to die alone in some nursing home because you can't afford a nice house, because even then they're going to inheritance tax it. They don't want you realizing the truth. And that's why.
But you know what, Andrew?
To fight the poor people.
You know what, Andrew? I agree about the political class is failing people in Britain as they have in many other countries. I agree with it completely. We need better politicians who have better solutions to big problems facing our country. But you are big on truth, and you abhor lies, and you hold them to account because they lie and don't tell the truth.
Correct.
And yet these riots,
Correct.
you claim were just organic reaction to the problems of the country. No, they weren't. These riots happened because far-right thugs acted on false information that the perpetrator of these wicked crimes against these 3 little girls that were killed and many others that were seriously wounded was an illegal Muslim who come into the country, was on an MI6 terror watch list. That is why these riots happened, and that was all a despicable lie designed to make people have completely the wrong idea.
No. What does this have to do with BLM? No, this got nothing to do with BLM. You incited something. You see what I'm talking about? The deflection is crazy.
Hang on. And as a result of those lies, mosques, Muslim mosques belonging to your religion that you've converted to, were then attacked.
Answer to God. They will
as
answer
were
to
asylum
God.
seeker hotels, because people believe
so will you.
It was an illegal migrant when it wasn't. It was all lies. And you, as the great espouser of truth, who hates lying, should be the first to say that anyone that spread any of those false rumors about him being a Muslim, about him being an illegal immigrant, about him being on the MI6 terror watch list, you should condemn unreservedly anyone who spread any of those false rumors, because they're the things that inspired these riots. Bottom line, end.
Yeah, actually, there's a good point here. There's a good point here, Piers. It's actually a very good point you make. And I actually want to speak to all the non-Muslims who are watching this and understand that if you read your history and you understand how the political class have lied to us to get us into all of these forever wars, they've tried very hard to make you believe that Muslims are your enemy. And there's been a large propaganda campaign by the Western media machine to make sure you feel that way. I assure you that 99.9% of Muslims think just like you, feel just like you, and they're good people. And I don't want anyone to instantly assume that Muslims have committed a violent crime because a violent crime has happened. That's
Do you agree with what I just said?
Happens, and I believe a lot of that happens. Yeah, I agree that, of course, I'd love to live in a world of absolute truth. Then people like you wouldn't have a job and the BBC would be closed down, and then you would have words wouldn't be able to.
Bro, shut up. No, that's not how that works at all.
Sit up there and say that I'm a human trafficker when he gets caught being a pedophile himself. Sir, my hard drives are clean. I've been searched by 4 federal agencies. I'm doing my absolute best. My hard drives are clean. I'm not a criminal. I'm not the reason why the riot started. I'm a person who is very upset, who has 4-year-old daughters himself, disgusted by what he heard, believes that that is unacceptable in any civilized civilization, and we should do anything it takes to prevent it from happening again. Perhaps I was wrong about the fact he was an illegal migrant. He was only a migrant. Perhaps.
Stop. What? You're still dog whistling, bro. He wasn't an illegal migrant. He was born in Wales. He's a citizen. Do you not know what migrant means? His parents, you can say, were legal migrants, but they had a kid, a son, in the UK, on UK soil. He is a UK citizen. He's not a migrant. Like, what is this? Like, this, bro, this is the racist shit I'm talking about. This is the bigotry I'm talking about, bro. He's more of a fucking citizen than you are in the UK. Just understand that. He's more of a UK citizen than you, because at least, unlike you, he was born there. Like, what are you talking about? But then he's sticking up for this small dichotomy, or he calls it a dichotomy, which is a subsect of a group that believes that even if your parents are from a different country, you're still not considered part of them. I don't know what would you call that? To me, that's bigotry, bro. The fuck are you talking about? Like, so what? so I mean, if we start tracing lineages back, I mean, it's not going to look good for anybody. It's really not going to. If we're going to look at that, because then your grandparents and your grandparents, great-great-grandparents, where are they from? Now we're going to start asking that question, right? Everybody start questioning people. Where you from? Where you from? Where you from? Where your parents from? Where your mama's from? Where your daddy's from? What are we doing? Is this what we're stooping to, right? Where we're looking at people's skin deep and questioning where they are from? Like, what? Like, this is crazy, but this is what a lot of these guys on the alt-right, I'm not saying the right, because to be fair, not all conservatives buy this bullshit, but it's the internet far-right fringe bullshit that is getting insanely crazy, right? Especially with the advent, a lot of these pill poppers combining forces with these guys. You already know when you combine the extreme rhetoric of women and then politics, it starts to get into this weird hybrid bullshit on immigrants. So, I mean, y'all just got to be careful out there. But I'm done with this. Y'all, let me know what you think here. Some people, a dichotomy of people, think that Andrew Tate won this debate. All right. If you think that he won this debate, go ahead and put a 2 in the chat. If you think he won, or if you think he lost, put a 1 in the chat. Let me know what you think. Because to me, honestly, it's a hard one for me. Bro, you lost. And this interview made you look insanely crazy. Like, you look crazy, racist. And for a half black guy, or is he half black? What is Andrew Tate? Is he what is he? Because I think we got to take his black card away. Is that what it is? Because you can no more just hiding behind mixed race shit. Because now you're sitting there going at Muslims, but now we got to question you. What do you mean native whites? Exactly who the fuck are you, nigga? What do you mean native whites? Huh? Are you a native white? Are you undercover in here? Because we got to start checking you now. Huh? You don't see how crazy this can get? Because you look kind of sus to everybody, right? Because people can be like, hey, where you from, nigga? Huh? That's what they're going to be saying. Matter of fact, you might get dropped in certain neighborhoods if you drop the M-bomb. Just saying. So where's this all going to go, Tate, in your world? Let's be honest, huh? Because now we're going to be looking at you funny. Like, nigga, are you black? Or what about Tristan? Where he from? Hey, we gonna start taking black cards, bro, because y'all are saying this bullshit. It's no different. Y'all are just racist, bro. It is what the fuck it is. Stop trying to hide it. And it certainly wasn't a Zionist plot that y'all started inciting riots. They got a bunch of fucking mosques and churches burnt. Y'all did that. Take accountability for it. Chat, I appreciate y'all being here. Go ahead and vote in the chat. I'll be right at it with another one. This shit was crazy. Peace.
But ass.